It's a grizzly.
Should we get out of here?
No. We're gonna watch and listen.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Grizzlies on the Hunt. Yes, you all asked for it, and you shall receive. We got the psychic again that you all wanted. She is here. Y'all bugged me to death last time we had her on. I told her, I was like, you know what? I got to have you back on. She's like, wow. I'm like, because they're bugging me. So, yes, she's here. Rachel is back, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Brenda. Hello, Maddie. Hello, Kat. How's everybody doing, Denise? Welcome back, Denise. Glad to have you. So what do you think, Rachel? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it is. Hi, everyone. Good to be here.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I don't know. It was like, man, we got to have y'all back. I'm like, okay. I mean, my phones were nonstop. I was getting PMs. They were texting me. I was getting emails. Yes, it was like crazy. Hello, Crazy Witch. Welcome back. Yes, everybody's doing well on my end. How about you? Did you like the last show? Wait, this show is going to be interesting. I have no idea which way we're going to go on this one. I'm going to let Rachel take control. Yes, let her
I don't know
join.
either. I usually never have anything that I talk about. I just kind of answer people's questions because I never know, I never know a direction. So
Yeah, see, that's the way I like to roll. That's
Yeah.
Grizzly style. What's up, Luna? Hello, how you doing? Hello, Karen. Welcome back, Diane. Nice to see you again. Julia, Lisa, hello. Hello, Tess. Well, everybody's just piling up in. Come on. So, what you been up to, Rachel?
nothing really, honestly. Just working.
Staying busy?
Working.
Yeah. So, what you been working on?
Nothing really. I mean, just Madeline's case. Trying to kind of come up with a better location on her. As far as locations are concerned, they're really hard because it's all about timing. It's all about timing and kind of people kind of get found if they're meant to be found, and if we're supposed to be involved in that, then we are. And I kind of have to remind myself of that because I get very frustrated. I get very frustrated, so it's like, why can't I just get a name?
Yeah,
Sometimes
right.
I do, sometimes I don't. So I get more like description and stuff like that. So just kind of trying to locate on that a little bit because I have her sister open to listen. So it makes a difference, when you have someone open to listen like that. But I have a few other things I'm going to be jumping in on. And some things I'm kind of thinking about doing. I worked Gannon like when he first went missing, and so I don't know if I really want to do another reading on that, but I thought about taking the stuff from my readings that we know fits and like doing a first part and then doing a new reading. I don't like to do readings on cases that are basically solved because it takes time and energy, and there's so many people that need help, but I kind of go where I'm pulled. So if I feel pulled to it, I'll do it. I can never pronounce her name wrong, and I don't want to. I mean, I always pronounce her name wrong. I don't even want to say it because I never pronounce it right. But Shaquanda, is that?
I'm terrible with names.
She was the one that went on vacation, and we don't know really what happened, and the U.S. kind of dropped the case. So I've kind of felt a pull to her. I'd like to do that just because U.S. dropped the case. I feel like she needs her voice. So those are some things that I have ideas on, but I never know. One day to the next what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that true? Now, we worked on a case. It was very interesting. It was the mother of 8. And now our psychics came back because, we have a panel. And ours came back and they were like, Grizzly, she's alive. And I was like, okay. So I did the courtesy. I was like, well, I'll contact the FBI on the flyer And they're like, hey, we're doing a show, give you a heads up. And that was terrible. I had a bad experience. So I was on hold for like 45 minutes. That didn't work out. So I hung up on them, right? And I was expecting the next day on my door, which never happened. I even called the sheriff's department on the flyer. Be like, hey, just letting you know, we're doing a show and this is what we're, and he's like, no, that's not true. And I'm like, okay. I mean, that was it. So I told the psychics, whatever information you want to say, just let it out. So they did. So, and it was interesting, you know. I mean, you can't tell me everybody that we had is wrong on cases. I mean, come on. So it's very interesting, you know, what people come up with. Hello, Missy, Diane. Hello, everybody. Crimezilla. I love that name, Crimezilla. I love that. So, like, everybody is wanting us to do something. So, what is it that you would like to do? I mean, they want us to do something on a regular basis, it seems like. Are you game for something like that? Do you even have the time for something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I am if I can find the time for sure.
I'll make time for you.
Yeah.
I will. Grizzly would dedicate the time for you.
That's like what I tell people. Like, I don't think people understand. Not only am I doing readings like every day for people, but I'm also doing YouTube. I'm also trying to do TikTok. I'm also have a Patreon. So I did have a podcast, but that's on hold right now. I'm kind of good because I don't have time for it. But it's like, you know, I'm spread out. So, and everything takes time and energy. So, but I would love to try. I mean, we can definitely try. I can't promise it'll be a weekly thing, but
they're like, yeah, I love the last show too, Grizz. Yeah, come on. I don't know. Maybe this is a sign, Rachel.
Maybe.
They're like, thank you, Grizzly. See? Hi, guys. Hello, Maureen. How you doing? I agree with you, Raven Creek. What a fun channel. Yeah. Hey, I'm down with it. Hey, Rachel's down with it. I will, whatever Rachel wants to do, Grizzly will jump on board. Yeah. You know, I like to have fun. So what do you usually like to do on your podcast?
I usually work cases. Like if I could, I might not even do private readings next year. I kind of have to see where things go because that is how I like kind of survive. So I have to see how my channel does and everything. But I was thinking maybe next year I'll focus fully on my YouTube and just see how that goes for a little bit. Because cases are my passion, but they frustrate me. I get frustrated, especially when it comes like I said, to location and stuff like that. Even like seeing like who did it is not always clear. So it can get a little frustrating. I love it. It's my passion, but it can get a little frustrating. So I'm kind of playing around with that idea a little bit of going more towards true crime, but we'll just have to see. So
now, how does the law enforcement take you when you get information?
I don't give them information. I never force my stuff on law enforcement. The times I've tried, I get ignored. So I'm like, you know what? I'll put it on YouTube. If a law enforcement officer wants to see it and use it, fine. If not, you know, because I also never want to lead anybody on a wild goose chase. So if I can't get a specific area or with at least within miles of something and I know for sure, then I don't want to send it in because I don't want to send a bunch of searchers there looking around like, well, we're here, and then it makes me look bad and it wastes their time. And so I don't want to do that. So it's, you know, I always get nervous about contacting the police.
Why?
The only
you got one on the show. I'm retired.
I know, but you know, I just, you have so many things like they don't understand always how it works. So then you get the cops that are like, oh, well, they were wrong. So, you know, then everybody starts talking crap about mediums. And it could be just that we misperceived it wrong or they didn't hit the exact area that we were thinking about. You know, it could be many different things. It's all in how we perceive it. So I don't know. I always wanted to start my own group of like like old retired police detectives like you, PIs, psychic mediums, search dogs, you know, search equipment, things like that, and have teams in different areas to go to different places, and that's always been my dream, but I have absolutely no idea how to start it. But kind of almost like Texas EquiSearch, but we use psychic mediums and PIs and stuff like that.
So basically what I'm doing, but I'm halfway there. So maybe that's why we're supposed to meet.
Maybe. I don't know if any of you guys ever listen to like your monthly readings on YouTube, but for the last 6 months, I've been getting something about collaboration with somebody. And
Really?
I do have my own team that I collaborate with, but it was like supposed to be something new. So I just thought it was kind of interesting.
Well, this is interesting.
Yeah.
This is like very interesting because, I have been a lot of people in my personal psychics, in my panel that give me readings all the time has been telling me certain things as well. And I just told them, look, here's the deal. Whatever it takes me. I'll go for the ride. I'm in, I'm not going to fight anything anymore. So
you can't.
No, you can't. And ladies and gentlemen, if it is Rachel, then let it be Rachel. I will help her go wherever she wants to go. I've got the psychics. I got the board. If she wants to do the show, I got the crime show. So yes, I got the researcher. Yes. So I don't know. This may be a thing.
I mean, I've been trying to manifest that for years because I didn't know how to go about it. I even thought about getting myself a search dog and going to certain places, and just seeing because I can get, sometimes I notice like I can get within miles, but not at the exact spot. So it would be nice to have a search dog to take me to the exact spot, and sometimes they're buried or whatever. So it would just, I don't know. That's something I always thought about.
Hey, Diane, Kimberly, Phoenix, Maddie, Donna, Missy Juju, welcome back. Hello, Diane, Lizzie, everybody. Hello. So yeah, so the people that do know me, yes, we do have a true crime podcast, a paranormal and true crime, every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We do work on true crime cases that are open and closed. Missing and murder cases, nationally known cases. We have a board of psychics that are put together that are world renowned psychics that are across the world, not just in America. So Australia, UK, Greece. Yeah. So I don't know. So maybe I don't know. This is interesting. If you're telling me that you're telling me what you just told me, and mine are telling me what I've been told, and people are telling me I'm supposed to be hooking up with you, and you're telling me the same thing. I mean, maybe we should probably look into something.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things like I kind of just go where life takes me.
Yeah,
everything's gonna happen if it's meant to happen anyway. So there was a certain time last year where I was always pushing, and then one day I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna release it to the universe. I said, whatever's meant to happen, wherever you want to take me with this, I will go. That's basically what I told Spirit and God. And I kid you not, it was not long after that things started to really shift. So I always tell people sometimes we have to let go and just allow the universe to take us where we're supposed to be. So yeah. And then kind of last year was like a breakthrough moment. After I did that, everything kind of broke through. So
I heard that from a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people had that. A lot of things this past week and this past few days, there's been a shift in energy. The vibration levels have changed. So,
well, we have a Pluto in Aquarius, which is a really interesting time.
Yeah, that is. We actually were speaking about that just a few moments ago. Lizzie, Karen, you're welcome. Yeah, so they're passing the email around. Yeah, email her if you got something. Don't be bashful.
Yeah, I do have. I mean, I have a submission post that because I have a group, Psychic Sleuth Podcast. So I have a submission post on there, and it's also a page. But honestly, I've never gotten to it. I kind of just go where I'm led. Like a case will pop in my head. I'm like, okay, I need to work this, or I get a little too curious about it. I'm like, okay, I'm getting pulled this direction. And then when I'm done with that, I'll get pulled another direction. So honestly, I've never gotten to it, but it's there for if I ever do.
Have you ever had the victim pay you a visit?
Yeah, I mean, usually when I call them in, they come. When I call
How's
them in,
that experience?
I mean, it's just channeling. It's just like channeling anybody, anybody on the other side. It's the same thing. But as far as seeking me out, I've had it happen a couple times, but not really. I always say, like, I'm never meant to work every case. Cases kind of choose us, and we work the ones we're supposed to. That's how I look at it. Like, if I feel pulled to something, it's usually for a reason. Like, I feel like Quentin and I think we had like a soul contract kind of thing. Like, I noticed some of the cases. I have an astrologist and she does my chart, and a lot of the cases that I've worked that I've been correct on are in my chart in some way. So we're always kind of, they probably have soul contracts with me. I probably have soul contracts with them. There's some kind of connection in that way,
Right.
So I kind of just go where I'm led.
Nothing wrong with that.
And I still like have a hard time. Sometimes I still doubt, especially when it comes to location. But just got to go with it. Because I have people, that come on and kind of argue with me, and it's like, I can't help it. Like, this is what I'm being shown. Whether I'm perceiving it right or not, I don't know. But this is what I'm getting. So I've kind of learned that I have to stick with what I get, and it's usually not wrong. So
no, and I learned that. Right. Now, how do you get locations? Do you use a map? Do you use a pendulum, or do you visualize it? Or
I'm still trying to get like how I can find the locations. I mostly see them and see what's around, and then I try to find it. Pendulum, I'm having a really hard time with, because once I get the visions, it's hard not to want to go. It's like you have to completely clear your mind with the pendulum, otherwise you can cause a pendulum to go where you want it to go, or to do something where you want it to do it at. So I'm having a hard time with the pendulum. I don't do well with it, but it's a work in progress. We'll just say that. I have some ideas with that. I started recently pulling crime cards as validation for my reading, like to see if they match up with the area I'm getting or give me anything extra as far as it's around there. They seem to be pretty accurate. But as far as location, I kind of just try to fill a pool and see if I feel anything at this point. That's kind of the best thing I do, It worked well in Quentin, but it doesn't always work well. Quentin, I was pulled right to where she dropped him, and then where he ended up. So I was pulled 2 different places, but it's not always that clear. Sometimes I tell people, sometimes I feel things, sometimes I don't. Depends on how strong the spirit is. And then again, if I'm not meant to help in that, find them, then I won't. And if they're not meant to be found at this point in time, then they won't be.
Well, I mean, you're absolutely true on that. Yeah. So have you worked with a group of psychics before on a case?
No, I tend to work alone, and I like to work alone because I feel like if I get something different, then I start questioning it. And then I feel like we can get in each other's minds and kind of take each other off track. So I'm okay with working by myself and then, trying to see if we match. But as far as that, I just kind of work solo.
Yeah. So what we do is on our panel, we go to everybody and we say, okay, Rachel, I have a case. Now, what do you need to work on this case? And you will tell me a name, coordinates, picture, whatever you require. And you do your thing, and we'll give you like a week or so, do your little whatever. And we'll tell you a date and time, and we'll bring you on the show, and you can just reveal your information. And you can sit there and listen to everybody else if you want. And that's how we do our thing.
Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting because it's like, you take 15, 20 people, and I tell the ones that never seen the show, And picture a yellow Volkswagen slug bug, right? Remember that game you used to play when we were kids, slug bug, punch each other? Imagine that in a parking lot by Pizza Hut. You got a fire hydrant and some trees, and you got Kroger's in the background. Now, put 15 people around that slug bug. Now you have Kmart across the street. Now, each person in that circle has a different perspective looking at that slug bug, right? One sees the front of the car, one sees the part of the front of the car, part of the headlight. You know, as we go around the car, they see different angles of that car and different angles of the background and so forth. You know, some people see Kroger, some people don't see Kroger, some people see Kmart or whatnot. So we get the pieces of the puzzle, we put it together that way. So it's pretty interesting how everything fits together. So that's how we do our thing. Sometimes it's pretty spot on, and sometimes, you know, it may be hit or miss. So, I mean, you know, everybody's not right 100% of the time.
Yeah, no.
Right? But usually it's like, oh my God, I was thinking of that. You know, when I first thought of it, it's like, oh, no way. It was like, I saw the bridge, but there was gravel. I had the gravel road, and you got the bridge underneath the gravel road or by the gravel road. Yes. And it just like, all just comes together. And then what we do is if we have something that we feel it's, you know, validation good enough to pass forward, which we tell people, you know, we're not here for any false hopes, false promises, or to solve a case by any means, right? But if we have something we think it's, you know, valuable information enough to pass forward, then we will, you know, let it go on to whatever channels, and they can do with it what they want. If not, like you said, it's out there. So, yeah. And I think you fit right into that.
Yeah. No, I've been wanting to get on one of those cases. I just haven't had the time. I didn't have the time for my own cases, honestly. But yeah, I mean, I kind of like the way that Cincy Murder does it, where they have each of them do their own reading, but they never meet and they never know what the other gets. But the PI puts it all together. It's like, hey, this one got this one and this one got that one, because that way it doesn't, we're not leading anybody, or, you know, because we can easily lead, we can easily get each other's mind. It's just, that's just one reason why I try to like kind of stay to myself. But I don't mind,
yeah.
But I don't mind, like, you know, sharing my information as puzzle pieces. I don't mind that. But
what, I mean, does that sound like a good idea though?
Yeah, I mean, it is a good idea. The only thing is if you do too much on a case, it can get a little confusing and it can wear out the spirit. That's the only thing, you know, because it takes them energy to connect with us as well. So we can sort of drain them. So that's the other thing that I try to think about. But yeah, I mean, it's a good idea. For sure.
Is that something you want to try to pursue?
Yeah. Like I said, I've been wanting to do one of your panels. I just haven't had time to do it.
You want to try to make some time?
Yeah, I've been trying to. I wanted to work on the one you guys were working on recently, but I haven't had the chance.
Yeah. Well,
it's hard because even with my own cases, like people don't understand. It's not just I do a reading and that's it. Sometimes I'm working behind the scenes too, like on location and stuff. So between that and private readings, you know, it's just a lot.
It is. No, and I get it.
Yeah, and I do read other people's minds, so that's another reason I try to.
Trust me, I know that. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I am talking and seeing a psychic. So trust me, I know all about that. So my mind is pure. Yes, I know. So yes, she's probably watching. I know she's watching. She's on my panel. She's on my shows. So yes, I know. So I know how y'all work. Absolutely. So I was watching the comments as I'm clicking on them. I mean, they're like, yeah, Rachel. I'm like, jump. So, hey, I extended the olive branch, ladies and gentlemen. So whatever she wants to do, I will support her. Evidently, there was something for us to do, and I'll do it. Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, like I said, I'm down too. I just finding the time. I'm always down to do whatever. Like I said, I kind of just go where I'm led.
Her readings on Maddie is unreal. I hate some LE because they do not entertain her readings. Well, and here's why, Jessica. And this is why a lot of law enforcement do not entertain people with abilities. Number one, going into a court of law.
Well, I got my information from a psychic, and that's why I found the body.
That does not sound good in a court of law. That's why they usually call them advisors or visitors or whatever they want to call them on a case.
But
that's why they use cadaver dogs and so forth to help aid with information to where they can say, well, a cadaver dog found the body. Or they're, somebody called in a hotline and they got a tip. But yeah, there's a stigmata about it. So now there's some departments, some agencies, yes.
There is a case a long time ago where she did actually, it was for I think it was a serial rapist. She's well known. And she made history by being the first psychic to take the stand to describe the killer and how they found him. And she kept saying he was African American. They kept saying no, he was white, and they were wrong, and she was right. So she ended up taking the stand. So they do use the information. The problem is that they need that information along with evidence to do it. But that's like I said, like there are some times, like if I was working with police, it would make a difference, and sometimes it wouldn't. Like when I got Rick Allen, if I would have been working with the police officer and I told him, hey, Rick Allen, and they were already looking at him, then that's the way that they needed to go. Same thing with Idaho 4. If I would have given my information to the police officers and they would have been like, okay, this matches what we already know, then it would have been different. But I just try not to push my stuff onto LE because I feel like if my stuff is out there, if they feel like they need to ask me, then they'll come and ask me.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're too proud.
Yeah.
They do. And then now there's a lot of, some of the psychics that I work with actually work for the FBI, the CIA, the DIA. Actually used to spy on the Soviet Union during the Cold War. So work with agencies, yeah. So the credibility is there, but in some departments they just don't want nothing to do with them. So, but yeah. I mean it's interesting.
It's a hit and miss. Like when it came to JJ, like there's been times where they've been open. Like what was that case up north in California? Modesto, I think it was Modesto 4. He had come in and kidnapped, and there was a baby involved, and I kept hearing this baby crying, and I kept trying to find, because they were open to psychics. They were so desperate, they were open to psychics. Wow. So I'm like, I need to find a location and get to them, because I was hearing this baby cry, and I had the location, but my mind was like, is that right? Do I really want to call and send him there and there be nothing there, But I kept going back to the specific area. That's another thing. Like if I get kind of obsessed with an area, it's usually for a reason, because I keep going back there, and that's something I've had to learn. So it turns out right when I was going to call him, that's when they found him. And it turned out the baby was alive for a certain amount of time. He had left the baby there in the cold. And so it was alive. So I'm getting chills with that. But it was like, that was a time where I knew it was alive, and it was at a crucial point, and that's when I get stressed out. And then the stress out kind of blocks me a little bit. But see, they were open to it. JJ, they were open to it. We told him he was at the edge of the woods. They were open to it then, and then they ended up finding them the next day. And I noticed sometimes too, like in my readings, I'll see things, but I don't say it because I second guess it. I still do that after 10 years. Like I kept seeing a man carrying JJ, and then after he was found by a man, I was like, man, I should have said that. I knew he was going to be found because it came across that way. But he was just at the edge of the woods. But they listened.
Yeah. See?
So they do. There, it just depends. It's a hit and miss, you know. But if I ever get like specific information, like for Felicia, I had did a podcast. I didn't feel like it was that good of information, but I had a dream of an area, and I got a name with it. Well, when I looked up the area, it was Windsor, and it was right by Sam Houston National Forest. So I went to the family and I said, well, the person I was talking to in the family, and I said, look, here's Windsor. And she said, well, he did look up what's the largest national forest in Texas. And if you look that up, it is Sam Houston. So I said, well, she's got to be in Sam Houston because I dreamed of this area right here. Windsor is like right in front of it. And yeah, no one, I don't know if they looked and didn't find her or they didn't look. I'm not really sure, but she was found randomly by a person, by a regular person. So it's just, you know, stuff like that. And sometimes you tell them and they don't take it serious. And then it's like, you can't do anything about it, you know?
No, but at least you put it out there. I mean, you're like,
Yeah.
huh, you know.
And I want to address this fear of being wrong. I don't think people understand the pressure that's put on people like us. They think because you're a psychic medium, you know everything. You're supposed to know everything. You're supposed to know this, that, and this. And you're not allowed to be wrong. Because if you get wrong, then guess what? People only remember when you're wrong. I always go back to Sylvia Brown and the one case she was wrong on. And what do they always talk about every time? Oh, remember when she was wrong about that case? And we're not saying, this is not to say if Sylvia Brown was legit or not. I'm just saying, no matter the good that she did, they always remembered that. So that's always been my fear, because people will come back at you like, you were wrong. You were wrong. They won't remember all the times you were right, you know? So, and when you're in the public eye, it gets a little more, there's more there, you know, there's more pressure.
Yeah, but see, you would have the Grizzly backing though.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, because I was answering the question of, you know,
but ladies and gentlemen, knows that you're
wrong.
not going to be right all the time. You know?
We're not going to be right all the
that
time,
old
but
saying, you know, when you do something right, no one remembers. When you do something wrong, no one forgets. We know that, and Grizzly will rub that into their face.
Yeah.
But you know what? You have to overcome that, girl. You have to let yourself shine.
I've tried to overcome that for the last 10 years, because there's been times where I've been attacked for people misperceiving what I've said and them saying I was wrong and I really wasn't. But
who cares?
It doesn't matter. But at the same time, if you're working with police and you're wrong, it's a big thing. You know, it's a big thing. Then you send them to the wrong place, and then they never listen to you again.
Girl, I worked with people that did nuclear submarines across the world that had no idea that they were what they were doing. So, you know, and they had to have a certain percentage, you know, to be accurate to work with the government. So what does that tell you? You know, I mean, we
are human. I always tell people, like, we're human connecting to a different vibration.
Yes.
But I think my biggest fear is for me to get it really, really wrong one day and everybody come at me like they did Sylvia Brown. I just don't want that to happen.
You're gonna get it wrong, and I'm gonna get it wrong. I'm gonna get it wrong with you. And our ship will not go down in flames. You're not going to hear the Titanic flutes, so you don't have to worry about that. So yeah.
Well, I mean, just like, you know, I still hear about it. Like, I reposted some of the Idaho 4, like I cut them because they were live. So we cut out all the extra stuff and I reposted them. And you have people, well, this isn't right. And this isn't right. And this isn't right. And it's like, it's how you perceive it. Because I was feeling his energy really close. So I took it as he lived close. But the thing was he was there all the time stalking them. So that's why his energy was so close. Right. So I perceived it a different way, which we didn't really know how it made sense till it all came out. So, you know, it's all on how we perceive it. Sometimes we perceive it completely freaking wrong.
But that's like you can give somebody a reading and they do not understand it and tell you you're wrong, and till they're blue in their face, and you're like, just shut up, listen to me, and just take what I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 or 3 days later, they're like, Jessica, darling, I'm sorry, but you were right. I checked with a family member, and it's like I try to tell you, it doesn't make sense at the time, and it won't.
Yeah. Oh, I have people that tell me they're done having babies, and I'm like, no, you're not. And they come back to me a year later, and they're like, okay, I got pregnant.
Yeah, right.
Spirit loves to predict babies. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's always our free will choice, but most of the time when they say it, it happens.
I'm not going to touch that subject. Hey, there was a lady that was on my show with the psychic. I'll never forget it. And they were talking, and they were just having a regular conversation because I'll bring them on live.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll bring my guest on live. And my psychic was just talking to them. And they're like, "Oh, you're pregnant." And I was like, "Ah." And she was like, "Oh." And then Dad was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, good God. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen." I'm like, this is not good. We're going to have Jerry Springer unfold on Grizzly show. So, yeah, that was like an OMG moment.
Well, perfect example. And she left a comment, so I'm sure it's okay to put out there because she put it publicly on my YouTube. But I told her last year her mom was telling her she was going to have another baby, and she said, "No, I've got 2. I don't want any more. We're done." Well, she messaged me, I think it was yesterday or day before, and she's like, "You know how you told me I was going to have a baby like a year, like last year?" And I was like, "Yeah." She said, "Well, I'm pregnant, even though we took the day after pill, still pregnant." So I was like, "See, and her mom had told her in the reading." And that's the second time that's happened. Someone else told me, "No more kids, no more kids." And I said, "Well, you're going to have another girl." He already had, I think, 3. And next month, pregnant with a girl. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, I don't know. Spirit loves to give up the goods on babies for some reason. They really do.
Diane, I believe with you, man. There are fakes out there. You can tell the fakes from the reals. I mean, you can spot the fakes a mile away. Absolutely. The Diane, some make the names bad for ones with the gifts. Absolutely. But Lizzie, the things though, the ones with the abilities like Rachel, they do second guess themselves, and they are afraid, and then Rachel should not be afraid. That's what I'm trying to tell her. Jump. I would play the song.
I'm not. I mean, I put the info out. It's just I don't contact law enforcement on it. By the time I talk my mind into yes, that's the right spot, they've already been found. And it ends up being right,
Right.
I was so mad about the Modesto thing because I had it, and I was like, man, I could have found him earlier if I would have just shut my mind off for 2 seconds and just went with my obsessive feeling to this spot, So usually if I've got an obsessive feeling over something, it's usually right. Obsessive feeling over an area or something like that, it's usually right. So that's my tell, is I get obsessed.
Well, nothing wrong with that. I mean, go with your gut feelings.
Yeah.
Usually you're right the first time. It usually is when you sit there and second guess yourself.
Yeah. Your first ping's always right, but when it comes to location, I struggle because sometimes I get pulled in different directions. Like I get pulled maybe where the perpetrator stopped or where the perpetrator lived. Like I had gotten pulled at Modesto 4. I got getting pulled to where he lived, where he was seen at, and so it's hard to distinguish that from where they were, and where he was seen at, where he lived was opposite from where they were. But I kept getting farmed, and I was going the right way and I was in the right area. But it's one of those things where like I don't have anything that it like hits me on the head and it's like, yes, that's it. It's more of like an obsessive feeling. So that's not my like greatest gift, clairsentience. That's not my greatest thing. It's gotten a lot stronger, and I'm hoping that location wise, things will get a little bit better. But that's one thing I'm constantly working on is location, and I get frustrated. I get really frustrated.
Jessica, what I tell people, and I say this online a lot or on the air, is that if you feel that Jessica or any of the psychics information is that credible and it compels you and I'm saying compels you, that it's that strong of evidence, call the tip line, report it. It's anonymously, allegedly. So, I mean, what are they going to do? They can go check it out, right?
Yeah, but then that's my thing is like if I'm wrong, then they're not going to listen to me if I realize, oh well, I do got a right area, and then I call them back. I'm like, nope, it's not that one, it's this one. I don't want to do that to anybody. So,
You know what? When I was on the force, I always told people, I'd rather you call, because that one chance out of 10 that you are right, that's what counts. So it happens. So I wouldn't worry about it. I would flow, have fun with it, use your gifts,
well,
and I mean, I
what
wouldn't
gets
sit there and
frustrating.
call each department. I mean, I would do like what, like we talked about, and have fun with it and work on it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and what gets frustrating with me too is a lot of the things I see, you go to that area, it all looks the same.
Yeah.
So I get frustrated. I'm like, okay, yeah, there's woods, water, there's this and that, but that's like in 5 different places. So yeah, I don't know. With Madeline, or not Madeline. Is it Madeline? Yeah, Madeline. I'm getting a little frustrated with it. So I kind of am just like waiting for a dream or something at this point. I don't want to be the girl that cried wolf. Exactly. I don't. I don't like to send anybody on wild goose chases. If I had regular people, that'd be different.
Nah.
But not police, because they look, a lot of them look down on us anyways. I said a lot of them, not all of them.
They do, and it's sad though. But and here's the deal: it's the ones that you build the rapport with, and it's the ones that watch your show. It's like that one that can't solve that case, and it's like, I'm not going to tell anybody, but I'm going to reach out to Rachel and be like, hey, Rachel, I need some help.
Well, see, I wondered about Jolissa, because Jolissa, she had gotten in an accident, and I knew she had gotten in an accident, and I was telling her sister or her cousin or somebody that she had went off the mountain up there where she had went missing at. And her sister even mentioned the name of the road, and I said, yeah, that's probably it. It's a really windy road up there. She went off the side, and she kept putting me off about going to look for some reason. Like she didn't want to go by herself or this or that. And I was like, okay. She said, but I'm going to put my information, or I'm going to put your information and what you're saying in the family chat. Well, it turns out that the cop that found Jolissa was a family friend. And I'm just wondering if somehow he saw that information, also got kind of a click from spirit or a ping, into you guys have those gut feelings. Cops are very intuitive. So I'm wondering, with those two things mixed together, if that's what made him go up there. I've been kind of thinking about it. So I was like, he knew the family, and the family, she put that in the family chat. It just makes me wonder if one day he got that ping and he's like, I'm going to go recheck this spot.
Let me tell you something. If I saw a posting with a psychic that said, hey, I would check this area, I wouldn't tell nobody. I would go up there and check that area. And yes, I would.
That's absolutely what I'm thinking happened. I really am.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't stop. I would have fun with it. I mean, everybody's out here is telling you to do it. I'm sitting here reading it.
Well, I mean, I do. I just don't give it to police.
Well,
I still put it out. I just don't give it to police.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying, each case that we work or you work, I would call the department. No, we don't do that. Sometimes we may give it to media. Sometimes we may sit on it, but it's out there, like you say. But yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's basically why I did the YouTube, because I knew that police weren't always going to listen. I knew that spirit needed to also get their voice out about what happened to them, even if their family never hears it or whoever never hears it. It's still giving their, still putting out what happened to them, still doing their voice. So even if I don't get listened to, but yeah, it's still there. And it's also a validation. It's a validation of spirit, not necessarily of my gifts, but of psychic mediums in general.
Right.
and a validation of spirit. That's why I always say validation is really important, because it proves a lot. You know, it proves that there's something beyond. Because how would I know half the stuff I knew? I mean, getting Quentin's name 3 years before he was ever born, like, what are the odds of that? And that he was going to be found in a landfill, like, that came in before he was ever born. So it's just stuff like that that's really validating, that you kind of can't, you know. And I have people come, like I said, I don't like to work cases where there's a lot of information out, or where it's already kind of in the court, but sometimes people beg me to do it and I give in, because I'll get like 20 messages, so I'll finally just give in and give in and do it. And you know, you have people that don't know you that come to you and just think that you sat there and watched 12 hours of the jury or of the trial and just memorized it all, you know, because I get facts, because spirit will give facts for validation. So that's frustrating too. But it's like, don't come and watch one video and assume things, you know, get to know who you're watching. I wish people would do that more.
Yeah, that is true. I definitely am. Yeah. That's a lot of people do that. Yeah. So that's one thing that we do is we so nobody knows anything about none of the cases, because we'll pull a case that nobody knows.
I don't like to.
Even though it's in the media, or it has been in the media, but you all don't know what it is. So that way you're not tainted or anything like that. And, you know, you do your own magic and use your own abilities like you do. So I think it's pretty interesting, and it's pretty cool. But
I mean, it's like kind of like we do what we can, you know.
Yeah,
we do what we can. People are going to be found if they're meant to be found anyways, regardless if you put the information in or not.
Right.
You know, and I might not be part of that journey, but we can try, because we don't know until we try. So,
well, I think there's a journey that we're meant to be a part of. That's my part, what I've been saying, and evidently what everybody else has been saying in the chat. So, what do I need to do to help you?
Nothing. We'll just have to set it up. That's what I'm saying. It's just finding the time. And once June hits, I'm gonna get into May. I'm really gonna get busy, because everybody booked their own time, and they literally, I booked, the way I did my calendar was I gave a couple choices for hours, but instead of people just doing like an hour to a day, they did the entire time. So I'm gonna be reading for like 3 hours straight, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I did schedule time off, though. Which I don't do now. So
doesn't that wear you out?
I am. And that's why people get frustrated with me on my YouTube, because they're like, you're not posting, you're not putting out cases. I'm like, you guys don't understand. I'm not just doing YouTube. Like, I have my own personal readings that I'm doing for people over here every day, and it gets energetically draining. You know, it gets energetically draining really bad sometimes. So, and plus, you know, you have the whole, I think I get really affected by like planetary stuff, and there was a lot of planetary stuff going on recently, and I think it just kind of drained me. You know, I'd been going strong for like a year, and then it was just like, you know. So I try to tell people, you guys got to be patient with me. I do what I can when I can. That's the best that I can do. You know, as long as I'm doing private readings, unfortunately, like, my cases have to take backseat.
Well, I mean, you have to do the private readings. People have to understand that.
Yeah. So, but I'm thinking maybe one day, maybe next year, I might not be doing as many private readings. I don't know. I might just focus on my YouTube. It just depends. So, but yeah, I had a lot of people that were like leaving my channel and all that because I wasn't posting all the time. And it's like, you guys people don't understand. It can get like really, really draining. And I do try to take care of myself and stuff, but you know, I just do what I can. That's all I can do. I'm a human. That's it. I'm not a mystical being.
Yeah. God, I wish you had fairy dust, because I'll be like, sprinkle it over here on Grizzly. Yeah.
I wish I had fairy dust too.
Yeah, that didn't sound good, ladies and gentlemen. I agree. I'd love to see the comments on that one getting ready to roll in. So, yes. then now, cat nap. It's all matters in the end. That's right, Diane. Look, we already got people laughing. Wonderful. So yeah, but no, I mean, the private readings, I understand why. But anything to support you on my end, I'll do it. I don't have a problem. So, absolutely.
Yeah, we just have to figure out, what we want to do.
Yeah.
Thank you. I actually had someone come in and do a healing for me. She messaged me and she did a healing, and I actually feel a lot better from her doing the healing, because I guess I get a lot of energy kind of stuck to me. But yeah, so she actually did come in and do that, and I did feel a lot better. I had a headache and I was sore for like a day because your bad chi leaves you whenever you go through that healing. So I think it made a difference. I've had a lot more energy since then, and then sometimes us as women, we have those times where we're just tired.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carmen Energy. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's helpful, it's helpful. I never had an energy healing like that done before.
Oh, wow.
So I think it kind of helped my energy a lot, because I felt better ever since. Like after I got over a couple days, I was back for a minute.
Lizzie, her gifts are growing all the time, and it's amazing to see. Yes, I've watched that. I've actually did my homework. That's why she's here. Absolutely. And Lindsay, LOL. Jessica's got your back. Absolutely. Everybody's got her back. I'm laughing listening to her bird talk. Yeah. We were talking about her bird before she went live.
Yeah. I was like, she's going to talk a lot.
I was waiting on her to go live. She was waiting on me to go live. I'm just like sitting there like, dum, 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 dum. I'm like, are you ready? She's like, yeah. I'm like, oops. Okay. Let me hit the button. So, yeah. But no, like I said, it's, a lot of people don't understand what psychics go through. I actually went on a mission last year, and I'm like, I'm going to understand what these psychics are all about. These people with abilities. So I'm going to figure out who are the real ones, who are the fake ones. So I went and I interviewed like a ton of them. And I never did find a fake one, because a fake one never would want to talk to me. So I actually did a book on them. And it's very interesting what I learned. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after this commercial break. And we'll continue on with Rachel that everybody wanted us to bring back on the show. So stand by.
It is.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Grizzly's on the hunt with the famous psychic Rachel. Welcome back. All right,
it's Rochelle, live. Grizzly. It's Rochelle.
Rochelle.
Yes. Really? Everybody wants to call me Rachel. It's okay. Shane used to do it all the time when I was on the podcast with him, and he would never change it. He's like, I'm just going to call her Rachel anyways. And everybody would get ticked off because it's like Rochelle.
And nobody in the comments has been correcting me.
I didn't correct you because everybody does it.
Like, oh my gosh, Rochelle. I feel so bad.
It's okay.
Oh, nobody. Ladies and gentlemen, and out there in the chat room,
My grandpa used
Nobody
to call me
said nothing to
Rachel.
me.
My grandpa used to call me Rachel too, so don't feel bad. I was
Oh.
actually supposed to be named Rachel, but my mom said there's too many Rachels, so she made it Rochelle. But it was Rachel out of the Bible, but too many Rachels, so she made it Rochelle. So
That makes
people
sense.
call me Rachel all the time in my everyday life. I don't know why, because there's 2 L's and an E, but it's not even spelled the
Rochelle.
same.
Yeah.
But I don't say anything because everybody does it.
No. I wonder, right as I went to commercial, I heard her say that, and I was like, what? I was like, why did she say that? And I'm sitting there thinking as I was watching the commercial, I was like, no, I've been calling her the wrong name this whole time. Wow. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. So, Rochelle.
It's okay.
That is terrible.
Like I said, everybody does it. Shane used to do it on the podcast. He used to tick everybody off because I tell him it's Rochelle, and he's like, "Okay, Rachel." So, I got used to it. It's not a big deal. And then you just kept saying it, so I was like, I don't want to interrupt him and say no, it's Rochelle. Everybody calls me Rachel, anyways, so it doesn't matter. So, all good.
Sean, I tried to email Angela from earlier show, but I got kicked back twice. Her probably email box is probably crammed full. I would try make sure it's a 0, not an O. A 0, not an O. So make sure to check that out. You also seem to see what the victim would be seeing from where they lay. You see that a lot too?
Yeah, I can see it through the victim's eyes, or like I'm a third person or the perpetrator. So spirit will show me in different ways depending on how they want to show it. And sometimes I'm the third person, so that's more like a remote viewing thing where I'm put in the past, or like I'm standing in the woods, like in Madeline, I was walking around the woods. So, but there's times where I'm put into a car, like I'm in the back seat, and they're in the front seat, and I'm watching. With Felicia, I was seeing through the perpetrator's eyes, so I never saw him. So that it's hard when I'm seeing through the perpetrator, and it took me a while to realize that. Like I was like, how come I can't see the person? And it was because I'm seeing through their eyes. Unless they look in a mirror or something, I can't see. But it's like from their view. It's really weird. That one doesn't happen as often, but it does happen. I noticed that it happens a lot during like an act of violence. I can be either or, the victim or the perp in that situation.
Wow.
Yeah, it's weird.
So when did you find out about when you had these abilities?
Well, I think we kind of went over that last time, but
yeah,
basically
we did.
It was when I was about 30. So I'm 41 now. So I've been doing this since then. It was, after the loss of my husband, I just had my own reading and decided I kind of wanted to do this, and started auto writing, started using cards, started a grief group, and then all of a sudden the spirit flocked to me. So I mean, I think I was gifted in stuff when I was younger. I didn't really use it. It was more like an intuitive thing, or I had like certain things happen. But I always say, like, we always come with the connection to the other side. Like, we can all have certain abilities. It's just about opening them and nurturing them and wanting to. Basically, I told spirit I wanted it, and they gave it to me.
Wow.
And they would only give it to me if they knew I could handle it too. And I think the whole crime thing came, me and my grandma used to watch Colombo all the time. So we were always into wanting to solve things. So I think that's kind of why I took on the crime stuff, plus it's, it's in my astrology chart, so I'm supposed to do, but I think that's why is I've always kind of like wanted to be a detective, but it's just in a different way.
Yeah, it's funny you brought up Colombo, because I play Colombo. I play dumb. And I play Super Troopers too when I was on the PD. Yeah.
I love that show. There's a new show out. I cannot remember the name of it right now, but it's like literally a female version of Colombo. Like they redid it. But Peter Faulkner, great guy, great actor, loved him. But I even when I watch like CSI or whatever, I try to solve it before they do. Before they put it up. I'm constantly practicing, like, and I usually get it right on who did it. Sometimes I don't get anything, but sometimes I'm like, I'll see certain things and then it'll come out later in the show. I'm like, yes. So it's like practice. I practice a little bit, but yeah. I always kind of wanted to be a detective, so I think, and I just have a pull towards this area of it. You know, some people have a pull towards another area, but this is just the direction I'm going. Most frustrating direction. I don't think crime is not easy as a psychic medium at all. It's not easy because you got to put the puzzle pieces together, and sometimes you don't get as much as you would like to get. And, you know, it's really hard. It's some things that you see, and but it's fulfilling at the same time. But I think it's just more of the frustrating jobs.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're trying to understand certain things and it's like you're there, but you're not there. You're almost there to get it. And you're trying to get the full fledged everything, but you're just not, you're just at the edge of it, you know? So, I mean, I could understand that. That's frustrating. I mean, I've been that way with certain things on the PD. Trying to understand something, and it's just like you're missing just one piece of information. So, yeah, it is frustrating.
And we get what we're supposed to get when we're supposed to get it. It took me a long time to understand that, especially recently. Like I had to just I get so frustrated with myself. Like, why can't I find this area, or why can't I get this information? And it's like, it's not the time, you know, or you're not supposed to help find them. It's one of the two. So,
yeah. Lindsay, I wish I was a psychic. Would be on my cousin Chelsea unsolved cold case from 2012. She was only 15 and she has been completely forgotten. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Chelsea, I actually got that name somewhere in one of my readings. Sometimes I get interconnects of future stuff or other cases. That name looks familiar. The Chelsea does.
I hate to hear stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's in, you know, like we do what we can when we can, but it's sad because after a while, and there are some cases that get more, you know, more than others, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know, more work and time than others. I don't know why it's like that, but.
Well, it also depends on the department, the size of the department, and funding, and
yeah.
I mean, there's so many factors that go into it. You know, it's sad. It really is.
Well, but there is some like in the media, like there's some that are like really big in the media, and then there's some that don't. It's just, you know, it's the same thing with the cases. Why it's that way, I don't know. I mean, look how big Kylie got really fast. Kylie Rodney, she got big really fast. And then there's some that just don't.
So what'd you think about the Heather May case, Heather Kelly case? You ever think anything about that?
What case is that? I don't think
I
ever
heard. The one with the 8 kids that went missing.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't really looked into it.
I didn't know if you ever thought about it or not.
No, we did. Actually, Tammy brought it to my attention, but I didn't get to look at it. I was kind of watching the show for a minute when you guys were talking about it, and I just wanted to see like where supposedly she went missing from, and I just thought it was it was odd that there was a cement place there, because I have been getting a cement place for the last couple days, or the belt for the cement place.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was right there where you guys were talking about. I was like, oh, that's so weird.
See, ladies and gentlemen, she wasn't even involved, and she was getting information.
But I was getting that, and I like was kind of getting an obsessive feeling, so I thought it was for Madeline, but it might fit both because I get like interconnects like that. So it was yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked into it. You're saying she's alive, but I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, we're getting information.
I mean, they're saying she's alive. I don't know.
I mean, I had one psychic was telling me information about the case before I even took the case, and I'm like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he was like, I do not either, and he was from another country.
Yeah,
he's like, I don't know. He's like, we were going to be working on this case, and I'm like, I have no idea. And it turned out that he was right. I was like, wow. And this was like 2 weeks before we took the case. So, yeah, I was surprised. He's like, yeah. I knew it. He said, I dreamt about it. He said, I went through it. So he was pretty spot on, with the information and so forth. So, I mean, it's very interesting to see how y'all work, and
I
that's
honestly, from what I heard of that case, I don't get a good feeling about the boyfriend. I just don't.
I don't either.
That's why I don't think she's alive.
Only thing I can say is
he's too violent.
I think she was alive at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
yeah, probably not now.
Nope.
Yeah, I wasn't getting that feeling because I was like, sometimes when I watch stuff, I'll get flashes, and so it was kind of those flashes of, yeah, I don't think she would leave her kids like that, even on drugs. I still think that she would have, at this point, surfaced at some point. And just his background and stuff, I don't get a great feeling about him, and I just don't.
Well, in the scratches on his body,
Yeah.
that's on the front and back, allegedly, I should say.
Because when you said she was alive, I was like, maybe at one point, but yeah, I think it's really odd how he got off of his electronic thing. It's really weird.
Snitches get stitches.
Yeah. So, but that is one thing I did want to work that, but I know you were working on it, and I don't know if you're doing another week, but I was trying to see if I had the time to do it. This week's like super busy, so I might just work on that one on my own then. I know Tammy brought it to my attention. I just haven't got to it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we didn't know. We want to include you on it, but I don't know. There's something else. I mean, people want us to do something together, so I don't know. And like I said, whatever you want, I'm down.
I'm down too.
Figure it out.
I don't know what are people's ideas.
I don't know. Tell us, what are your all's ideas? We're here. You brought us together, ladies and gentlemen. So tell us, what are your all's ideas? What do y'all want for a show? Diane, Karen, Lizzie, Diane, Crazy Witch, tell me. Jessica, what is it?
We need ideas.
Yes, I'll do it. As long as it's not too crazy now. I'll go out there on the branch. So, energy healing is amazing. Yes, I do believe in that. They can be also powerful X. Yes, Jessica's laughing. What y'all doing? Right now we're trying to figure out that everybody's wanting us to do something together. So I am down with anything. And all my comments went away. There they are. Marcy, welcome, Marcy. I was thinking that you are looking like you are feeling bright and extra healthy today. Well, thank you. Sounds like the energy healing helped. Ooh, sounds like the energy helped you. That's good. So somebody is correcting me on your pronunciation of your name, Rachelle. I like the way they said that, how they did that. LOL. Yeah, I know Lindsay. I've been saying it wrong. I know Diane. I've called Liz, and now everybody's laughing.
They said dye your hair purple so you could match. Purple and blue.
Yeah. God, do you know what that would do to me on my other shows? Jessica's like, did I spell your name wrong? OMG if I did.
Yeah, Jessica, I'm gonna actually do that case. We were gonna do it the night I did all my questions, but it was like I had all this energy, and then bam, I didn't. It was a delayed reaction, so we didn't get that one done. Just your beard, they said. Well, he doesn't have any hair to do on his head.
Actually, I do have hair. I chose to shave it, so yes. Yeah. Jessica, so
well,
proud
I mean,
of you,
right
Liz.
now though, like you couldn't dye
Yeah.
it blue right now.
No, I would look funny with the blue beard. Yeah, no. I wouldn't be as tough looking if I had a blue beard. Oh, now look at catnap, Rachelle. There we go. That's a good way to put it. Lizzie, we think you're too nice. I try to be nice. That's the only way to be. Now, come on. I was going to, but you're too sweet. Oh, thank you. I know, Rachelle, but now my job, I was being polite. Thank you. don't. Hey, man, let me tell you something. My crew, they will. Hey, I call them fact checkers. And I'll let them correct me anytime. Don't worry about it. I just knocking stuff over my studio thing. Hey, if I'm wrong, Grizzly's wrong. Hey, call it out. I'm not worried about it. Don't worry. Hey, it's nothing but a thing. It is a pretty name. I knew it was Rochelle, not Rachel. Thank you. Hi, hello, Matt. Welcome, Lizzie.
Matt.
Well, we're waiting for some ideas.
Yeah, we're waiting for
Alexa
some
Virginia,
ideas.
love your channel too. Okay, great.
She says, yeah, discussing chases or anything really. It's just a chilled out chat.
Just your beard. Yeah. Oh, so
We say
I'm
you need
way
galaxy hair.
behind on comments. Yeah, I mean, we can do cases. I mean, there's so I love doing cases, and here's why. I love law. A lot of people do not love or like law. I do recite law. I'm not an attorney. I do not practice law, but I do recite law from the statutes from the state that we do the cases on to help educate people. It's like one of my psychics just reached out to me, like, what are you up to? It's like they're picking up my vibes. Hello. So, yeah, I mean, cold cases. Yeah, I'm down with anything. So here's the deal. So I had her on my show and everybody fell in love with her. And they're like, begged me to have her back. I'm like, just drove me absolutely nuts. So I reached out to her. I'm like, look, I got to have you back. She's like, why? I'm like, this is why. So, yes. Hi, Sonia. I didn't even know Sonia. Well, Sonia, that's my baby right there. That's the one I'm talking about.
We could tell when you said, hi, Sonia.
Yeah, that's my sweet. That's my queen. Yeah. I didn't even know she came in, Crazy Witch. Thank you. So, yeah, I'm down with cold cases. Yeah, Sonia, Crazy Witch. She didn't say hello to me. Shame on you, Sonia didn't say hello to Grizzly.
I love Crazy Witch's name.
I remember that lady.
It sticks out.
Yeah, I know, right? So it was embarrassing. I thought Crazy Witch was a she. And this went on one night. And she ended up correcting me as a he. And we did not know, but yes. So, no, I texted Sonia earlier. I'm like, are you watching this? He. I was too busy giggling. Okay, all right, whatever. I love you too, baby. But now she is a psychic. She is very good, and she's like you. She can read minds. She's very good. But no, cold cases, I'll be down with it. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. So, I mean, what is your schedule like though? Like weekly? I mean, what do you do? Like
I'm
weekly?
so busy. Phoenix Rising has an idea.
What's that? Let me see, Phoenix. I have an idea. What is your idea, Phoenix?
I'm so busy. Like I said, once I hit June, I'm so screwed. But I did take like 3 days out of the week off. So I might actually have some more time off, but I might be dead on those times. From doing 3-4 hours at night. I might be just kind of gone. And I don't work Sundays at all because I go visit my mom. So
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's the only day I seem to take off. We could have certain topics too that we talk about, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, there's some nights that I have open mic nights. Sometimes we let a free for all. I got a set up to where we can have people call in or FaceTime in or whatnot. What about haunted homes? That'd be a hard one to do because a lot of people say they have haunted homes, but they don't. And a lot of people don't want to be on there because their homes. Grizzly could validate at the end. Oh, dead like all the dead. Now, I
Probably.
Yeah. I did do one. I thought it was going to be funny, ladies and gentlemen. I was at an antique store. And I was walking in the aisle.
I don't know.
Excuse me.
Schedule's full.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
And I moved, and I thought there was a child behind me. And there was nobody behind me. So I looked to my right, and there was these dolls sitting on a shelf in this antique store in Madison, Indiana. So I was like, ooh, wouldn't these dolls be cool to have on one of my ghost shows? And, you know, do good props. I'm like, yeah. Well, there was 4 of them. Well, out of the 4, only wanted 2. So I was like, hey, man, come over here. So I was like, hey, I want these 2 dolls. She's like, no, you got to buy all 4. I'm like, I don't want 4. I want 2. She's like, 4. I'm like, 2. She's like, you got to buy them in a lot. So I was like, okay, whatever. I bought 4. On the way out, I bought another one in a glass case. It's a topsy-turvy doll. You know, you flip it over and it's another doll underneath. You know, it's handmade. Yeah. So, you know that board of psychics I was talking about, ladies and gentlemen? Their faces melted off. Their eyeballs get sunk in their face, in their head. They were like, what in the hell did you buy? No, get rid of them. I was like, what do I do? Set them on fire? And they're like, no, don't do that. Get rid of them. There's attachments to it. Man, did I have poltergeist activity. I had my REM pods going off. I have my EMF detectors going off. I have stuff being knocked over, drinks being spilled, backdrops flying, books flying off. I mean, this was live on my show. This is no joke. So I'm doing an interview. Yes, dolls can be creepy. So yes, that was crazy. This was crazy. Crazy Witch will tell you. Crazy Witch, it was not hilarious. Well, it is now, but it wasn't at the time. So I'm doing an interview. All right, check this out. I'm doing an interview. And this guy was like, dolls. And I'm like, all right, he's punking me out. He's watched some of my shows. I'm like, okay, what about dolls? He said, they're above your head. I'm like, yeah, he's watched some of my shows. And he's psychic. So I'm like, all right, tell me more. Yes, so you got my interest. So he turns his head and closes his eyes and he starts talking about this doll. I was like, describe this doll to me. And I'm looking, I was like, describe the clothing. And he starts describing this clothing. And I'm like, there's no way in hell he's describing this clothing on this doll because nobody has seen this doll. So I was like, okay, Mr. Smarty Pants, how many? And now he's starting to have problems. He was like, I'm seeing, he's like, 1, 2, 1, a couple. And he started doing that. Well, all of a sudden, I see in the comments, good job, Derek, from Catherine. And I'm like, Catherine from Greece? One of my psychics on the panel? My panel? The famous psychic, Catherine? I'm like, she knows this psychic? I'm like, oh my God, this guy's like legit. So I'm like, I'm now figuring this out that she is mentoring this guy. I had no idea. So now he has got my full attention. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, now why are you having problems? Like, how many dolls are you talking about? And he kept going, a couple. 1 or 2, or a couple. And I was like, okay, I'll tell you. They're twins. And he's like, oh, well, that makes sense. They are. They're twin dolls. So I was like, all right. I said, let me ask you something. He goes, I'm asking him, but he was like, you're having activity. I'm like, yes. He says, the person that actually owned the dolls is a trickster. And I'm like, absolutely. I know that. I'm having problems. And he goes, well, she doesn't like what you're doing. And I'm like, well, what do I need to do to make this girl happy? And he says, quit disrespecting them. Because I was grabbing them, putting them in front of the camera. And I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, each show, I'm going to let you name, hey, this doll. Y'all can name this doll. And on the next show, we'll name another doll. Well, that was not very funny to this person that owned these dolls. So every time I did a show, she would mess around in my studio and cause hell with me. So I asked Derek, what do I need to do to make this lady happy, or child, or whatever? And I was like, well, who is she? I was like, is she a child or an adult? I mean, tell me, tell me, just please. He closes his eyes and turns his head and he goes, it's a woman, but she has a child's mind. Does that make sense? And I was like, oh, okay. That does make sense. Does that make sense to you? An adult with a child's mind, Rachelle?
It
Does that
can,
make
yeah.
sense? Okay, so it makes sense to me. Ladies and gentlemen, does that make sense to you? Yes, Crazy Witch. That was a cool show live. That was. All this was live. All the activity was live. It was recorded. Everything prior, yes. So I asked. Everybody's like, show me the dolls. Show me the dolls. I'm like, I am not touching the dolls. Are you freaking nuts? No, I'm not touching them. So I asked Derek, what do I need to do to please her? Tell me, please. So he closes his eyes. He was like, you need to, every morning, you need to get up and say good morning to them. Good morning, Jackie. That's her name. Good afternoon, Jackie. You need to tell them good night. And you need to respect the dolls. And I'm like, is that going to solve my problem? Please tell me it's going to solve my problem. Because I've been throwing holy water everywhere. And when I say I throw holy water, I throw holy water. Trust me, I've got gallons of it. All right? So I do. Crazy Witch is laughing. I know he's laughing. Diane, I know. So yes, the faces were morphed. You cracked me up. So anyways, so I listen, and they're like, show me the dolls. Show me the dolls. I got to see the dolls. I'm like, I'm not touching the dolls. So I was like, Derek, they want to see the dolls. I'm like, I tell you what, Derek, can I take a picture? He goes, let me ask. So he asked Jackie if I can take a picture. He says, you can take one picture. I'm like, oh my God, I was shaking. So I took a picture and I showed him. So yes. So ever since then, nothing has never happened. Do not buy dolls at an antique shop. If you do, you tell the attachments that they are no longer allowed to go home with you. They must stay at the shop. They cannot follow you. They cannot come home with you. They are bound by Christ to leave the doll. I'm telling you, do that. Do not do what I've done. It was hell. People actually got a kick out of it.
There's a lady on TikTok that has dolls, that does like TikToks with the haunted dolls, but she has them in like a room that's like, you're supposed to put them in a room that's a protected room and
You're
all of
supposed to
that
find them.
if you're gonna have those kind of dolls. And so she did all her lives inside of this. It's like she made like a closet with like, all the protected stuff in there, and they all have their own little glass things.
Yeah.
But she does
Do
lives with
you
them, but she
really
has
think
them.
Grizzly was going to buy some freaking haunted dolls? I mean, really?
I mean, I want a haunted doll.
Oh my God. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've got 1, 2,
You
3,
can buy them
4.
online too. People actually sell those things online.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I actually put them online, and people are like, the ones that didn't know me are like, I don't know, they're haunted. I'm like, dude, you don't know who Grizzly is? I'm telling you, they're haunted. They're like, tell me a story. I'm like, I'm not telling you jack. I'm not making a mockery out of me in this Facebook group. I'm like, you can PM me and I'll tell you. They're like, no, there's too many fakes. I'm like, dude, I was going to send you a link and you can watch it yourself. And they're like, they don't know who you are. I'm like, well, that's fine. But everything's fine now. Everything's calm. Yes. Even you're right. You can buy these dolls.
Yeah.
Now, people didn't believe me. I would have a REM pod sitting right here next to me on my studio desk, and then it would go, wee, 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 just go crazy.
I have that, and it's so boring. Like, it doesn't ever do anything.
Oh, man, not mine. Oof.
I need a haunted doll to make it do stuff. No, I'm just kidding.
Golly. Yeah, go to the antique store then. Buy those dolls there.
Anything that you get like from the antique store can carry something on it.
Well,
You
I
know, it just
wasn't thinking
depends.
that. Grizzly knows better. I knew better than that. But I wasn't thinking, I thought I was going to have fun, because I do a ghost show, right? Through the week, with one of my buddies, and he collects dolls. But before he buys the dolls, he says the prayer and binds the dolls and whatever before he takes them and all that stuff. And he was like, you didn't do that. And I'm like, I wasn't thinking. So I was like, I said, you take your EMF meter too, don't you? He's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I figured. He walks around the antique store with it. I was like, people look at you funny. He's like, yeah. So I want to see LOL when you do. I want to see what? She ain't scared.
When I get
What?
a doll.
Get a doll? Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell hey, haunted dolls are no joke. I'm telling you, they are no joke. I'm being serious.
I like going to haunted places though. I'm weird. Like there's a haunted hotel out here. I went to Tombstone. Like there's a place in Tucson I want to go stay at that's haunted. Like I want to go in the most haunted room. I don't have anybody to go with me, so I don't go.
I want to do that stuff with Sonia because Sonia could see stuff and she picks up on all that stuff. That's pretty cool. So yeah, absolutely. Do I have the? Yeah. So, but no, it's really interesting. So, but no,
Great.
I
Now
don't
you make me want a haunted doll.
I can't believe you really want one. Now, but see, you could probably talk to it though. You can probably talk and see the entity. Now, I've got one, the Topsy Turvy doll, has got 3 attachments to it. So, and I mean, like Kelly Joe, she's on my panel, and I showed her the doll when I first got it, and I'm like, she like really, I mean, like had a meltdown, ladies and gentlemen. Like she was like, why did you buy that? And I'm like, what do you mean? I thought it was, I mean, it's kind of freaky looking, but it was like really old and handmade, and it's a Caucasian topsy turvy. Then you flip it over, and it's an African American doll. So no, I'm not going to touch it, ladies and gentlemen. So don't even ask. No, I'm not going to touch it because they are.
I went into this guy's house, where I used to live, and his house was really haunted. Like you could just feel like the energy, like suffocating. It was so heavy. Like literally, I think he had, a portal in there, and he didn't care. He was just like, oh, I just live with the ghosts. And they weren't all happy ghosts. There was like a couple negative ones, and one was like controlling all the other ones. Oh, now that place was really haunted. I had like 13 different ghost stories of things that I was getting while I was there. And he didn't even care. He was just like, oh yeah, they're here. And his dogs would go crazy all the time because they don't like the energy, and he didn't care.
No.
I was like, you really need to close that portal. Like, you don't know what it's doing to you, like energetically. It can make you sick. And his friend had just like literally unalived himself in that house, probably due to some of the energies that were there. And yeah, he didn't care. He's just like, oh, we just coexist.
No. See, no. No. See, I couldn't do that. No. Sonia can see stuff. She can, people with abilities are amazing, especially talking to people that's passed on and help them pass into the light or cross over. Jessica, my mom, has tons of real life dolls and living rooms, real life size dolls. Woo. And bookcases high enough to put these lifelike dolls. Holy smiles. I hate sleep over on the couch. I feel like they're staring at mine do stare at me, but they're nice now. I'm not scared like it used to be. So yes. She's about 15. How old are yours? I have no idea. I don't ask them. I should have. The Topsy Turvy doll, it's an older doll. The other ones are, I don't know. They're older. I mean, I got them in an antique store. So, have you taken it to the graveyard? No, but Derek told me during a full moon. Now, tell me if this is right. I'm supposed to take them out and bathe them in the full moon.
I don't know anything about dolls.
So, yeah, that's what I was told to do. Jessica's like, nope, dolls, nope, not me. Lindsay, I'll stick with my demon portal nest. No, I will not deal with a demon portal nest at all. That is crazy. That is crazy. So, does Ted Bundy ever visit you unexpectedly?
When he wants to help. He's in the light now, so he's not the human that you remember him as. He would be, someone that's been done everything that they need to do to, gone through their life review, is on the other side. And like sometimes he'll come to me and like wave his arms and be like, hey, I got something to tell you. And he's on call if I need help with something. Like with JJ was alive, so I couldn't really get anything on him, and he told me where he was. So I call him my consultant because some people don't understand that, we have a path together. We're intertwined with our astrology chart. So we're supposed to kind of make a difference and make people look at things differently. And we're supposed to be working together, otherwise we wouldn't. So it's one of those things where now I just call him my consultant. Some people are fascinated and like it and understand it, and some people don't. But yeah, so I kind of worked with him a little bit for some information on Madeline. He gave me a little bit more. So if I ever get stuck, I know I can go to him, and he's usually accurate with what he gives me.
So Jessica,
and he's patient too, because I question him.
Jessica, gnomes are real. I know that for a fact. I have too many eyewitnesses on that.
A lot of those things are real. They just work on like a different dimension. Like
that is correct.
Fairies, unicorns, like all those things are real. They're just like on a different vibration dimension kind of thing.
So, I mean, how does that feel though, working with him though?
With who? With Ted?
Ted, yeah.
Just like a regular spirit. I mean, he's not dark anymore. When I first worked with him when it was Idaho 4, he was still in the lower astrals. So I would see him in the dark and he would still have his personality, but he was still very forthcoming and honest with his information, which he helped catch the Green River Killer. So like I always tell people have a role when they come here to play. Just sometimes they're good and sometimes they're bad. We all have a role. And that was what he chose to deal with, that mental illness, to be here on Earth, but that's not who he is as a spirit. Now, in lower astrals, he kept some of that negativity because he hadn't gone to the light. He wasn't healed. He didn't go through life review, all of that. But by helping with Idaho 4 and me listening to him and him realizing he did a good thing, he was then ready. So I saw multiple times he showed me, he's like, I told you so. When BK got arrested, he was like, I told you. So it was kind of a narcissistic, I told you I was right kind of thing. And then because his reading was probably the most accurate. And then I saw him walk down a tunnel. I've never seen that with anybody before. When they go into the light, they usually just walk into the light, but this was a tunnel. It was like a dark tunnel and it led to the light. He kind of turned around, waved, walked into the tunnel. And the next time I channeled him, he was standing with his victims, describing the other side to me, talking about how he had gone through his life review, because a lot of times when people are in the lower astrals are afraid of going to the other side from what we learn as humans, how it's all judgmental and, we're going to be condemned and all of that. So I think that's, and sometimes they don't feel like they deserve it. They don't feel like they deserve it for the human life that they led. So, I'm trying to have the lady come on my show, on my YouTube, that does our astrology charts, because she said there's too many exact placements in our astrology charts for it to not be something that's kind of meant to be. She can explain it better than I can. That's why I want to have her on. But I think people will understand a little bit more from that perspective. But yeah, so now it makes sense. I'm a crime medium. Who better to ask than someone that had a life with that, you know? And now it's not that I'm working with him in the dark. And for some reason, I don't have a pull to any other serial killers. It's just him. So there's some kind of connection, past life connection. There's some kind of connection there. Because she asked me that. She said, according to our charts, it looks like there's some kind of past life something too. So it's just interesting. But I can always ask him. He's always very forthcoming, and he's always very accurate with what he gives me. He doesn't play around. I question him because some stuff he tells me, like with Nicole Bully, I was like, what, are you sure? But he's like, yes, just trust me. And, you know, he hasn't led me wrong. He didn't lead me wrong on JJ or anything else. So, you know.
That's interesting. You made a comment that he was with his victims.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How do they feel? I mean, were they just like standing around?
Well, when you're on the other side, there's no negativity. There's no blame. There's no negativity. You understand your path. You understand your soul contracts. So there wouldn't be any blame towards that. There's only love and light on the other side. All of those emotions are human emotions. So who we are as a human is not who we are as a spirit, because we're different. We're just spirits kind of going through like a human experience, you know. So when you're on the other side, they're with their victims. Their victims understands they've gone through their life review. They now know their Akashic records. They now know their blueprints. They now know, you know. So they know that. I think a lot of people get stuck in this human mentality that this is real, the earth is real, and this is where we are. It's not. You know, we belong on the other side. That's home. We're just here in school. So all of our loved ones are like waiting for us to finish college, is how I look at it. So,
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, but we all have those blueprints and things we have to live with, people, you know, and sometimes maybe we haven't been the best of people in other lives. Shoot, I could have been a witch and like took out a city. We don't know. We don't know what I did. Hey, I could have killed a husband. We don't know. You know, we never know. So, if you're going to be doing this work, and if you're an astrologist, like, you can't be judgmental, because we all have our own past, our own, you know, lessons, and our own roles that we have to play by coming here.
You're right. And Sonia believes in that. Sonia, honey, I love you to death, but I am not touching the dolls. No. Sorry, not happening. Mm-mm. Next. So she was actually a witch in her former life. We were actually married in a former life. We found that out. So interesting. No, I'm not touching the dolls, ladies and gentlemen. Nope, not doing it. Yes, antiques, totally freaking crazy. Yes, they are. Is this really? Yes. Terry, I'm being for real. I'm not joking about the dolls. So if she wants haunted dolls, then yes, she can go get herself some haunted dolls. That's like that idiot on YouTube that bought that divot box. I'm going to buy me a divot box and I'm going to record myself. That ain't nothing. And look, then he regretted every bit of it, didn't he? Did you see that one?
No.
Oh yeah, you got.
I was just watching that. I was just watching the girl, because she like had her doll behind her, and she had like the balls that light up the cat balls, and the ball kept going off when the ball was just like sitting there.
Yeah, no, I'll put my cat.
I was like, it made me want a haunted doll at that point. I was like, I want to put it on my lives and like have like a ball next to it.
Who in the hell wants
and have
a
it go
doll?
off? Because I always tell people, I was like, I need to make a shirt. I don't think I made this shirt yet, but touch my cat balls, because I always have the cat balls out, but they never get touched. Because they don't have to be here for me to talk to them, but I always want like activity, and I don't give it activity.
No.
I'm like, this thing doesn't go off. My cat balls don't get touched. That's boring in my house.
Welcome back, Sean. We're talking about
I think my cat's
cat
doing a good
balls.
job.
So yeah. Sonia, she has portals. Yes, Sonia, I do believe you have portals on your property. Absolutely. Lizzie, that TV show Ghost is really good. I like that series. It's scripted though. Yeah, a lot of. So that's the thing about some of the TV shows that we watch. It is scripted. So yeah, you gotta be careful about that. When I go to bed, I turn on the lamp on my night table, and that creepy freaking doll is staring at me. Okay, Phoenix, I gotta see this doll. What kind of doll is this? You are talking about this doll. Describe this doll. You want to toss that doll so bad. I gotta know. Rochelle, you look very pretty today. Your hair color's brighter. Maybe because
Actually,
of the
it's
lighting.
not.
You
It's
look the rest.
fading. Sucks. I hate washing my hair. Every time I wash my hair, more color comes out. Sucks.
Lindsay, especially the old antique style porcelain dolls, the eyes that blink. You make me look up. Well, one doll's eye is missing. It's not colored. I think it's faded out. So, yes, Lindsay, the full moon will give chaos energy. Great, just what I need. Give the dolls energy. Yes, they can charge them. So, is that what I need to do then, Sonia? Why would they tell me to charge the dolls? Just
If you
what I
want them
need.
charged, I guess.
I don't want to make Jackie mad. So, because evidently I found out that these dolls were very, from Derek, very sentimental to Jackie. So, beating your dolls under, bathing your dolls under the full moon. Hey, man, evidently, hey, I talked to this one lady during my show. She actually takes her dolls and bathes them, gives them a bath. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a bath. I'm talking like, like a baby bath. Yes. Full moon clears energy and any negative. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so that's nice to know. Good old Teddy. Yeah, that's interesting though, to have somebody like Teddy to work with.
Yeah.
You get a lot of negative feedback on that from people.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of mixed. I get like a lot of people that come in the group, they're all for the TED readings. And actually, my TED readings get a lot of views. So there are people that are very interested in it. And that's one reason I want to write the book on it. But there are some negative ones. I've had someone say, I'm not watching anymore when you said Channel TED. Look, I always tell people, like, I follow spirit. I don't care what like humans tell me. Like I'm gonna follow what spirit's telling me to do. And if it's in my astrology chart, then it's fated. If it's, she's pulling up the chart and saying that we've had past lives and that this is something that we're meant to do. People make mistakes in their life. Yes, he made bad mistakes, but that was his choice to make those mistakes and his life lessons to learn. And still, we learned a lot from serial killers with that, with him doing that. He was one of the first serial killers that we ever looked at and kind of learned from. So he had a big purpose, even though people might not realize, or understand it. Sometimes negative, you can learn a lot from it. From bad things happening, you still learn things. So again, Earth isn't like real. We just come here to like kind of play a role. We're all on a stage acting and we're all learning all the time, right? And he had mental illness, so we can't like condemn people because he was a psychopath, so he's born with the differences in the brain, which I never knew. He's the one that taught me that with BK and showing me like the electric in the brain being different.
That actually is proven a medical fact. Yeah, medical. Yeah, so it's actually true. Yes.
So I mean, it's one of those things like I'm not judgmental. Like I don't go out seeking people like this, but there's a connection here, and there's a reason it's supposed to happen or wouldn't be happening. And we help the soul go to the light by him helping with Idaho 4. So it's kind of like a redemption, I guess, in a way. And he always liked to help. Try to find, help with the other serial killers like Green River. So I think it's just something that he knows a lot about. So it makes sense. Just like I have a medical guide, that's some kind of, he's got to be like a specialist or something. He's new because the medical stuff just started happening like last year. But in one of my readings, he stepped forward wearing a coat and everything, and he's like a specialist. So because of the work that I do, I have to have specialist guides for what I do. And it would have had to have been okayed by spirit, or it wouldn't be happening. You know, he wouldn't be for sure my husband, as well as my other guides wouldn't be letting him come to me if he's not allowed to, you know.
I mean, that makes sense. It really does. You know, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at the medical field, they didn't, you know, steal the bodies for no reason out of graves to dissect them to get where we're at today. You know, they still donate bodies to the medical field. So they do learn things from evil, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So I hate to put it that way, but it is true.
We learned, they learned a lot. So his path was, you know, different than mine and yours would be, but we learned from his actions and his path, you know. But so he's on the other side now, and I'm not a judgmental person. That's just, I can't judge somebody for what they've come here and done. We all have our own blueprints and our own soul contracts and stuff. So yeah, he went through his life review, and his life review, he would have felt everybody's pain that he, like, twice as much that he put them through. So all of his victims, he would have felt double what he put them through in the life review, plus the pain of their loved ones. So he did pay, and he's trying to now help.
All right. So Sean is asking, Grizz, can you please ask her about Brian Jones? So do you know anything about Brian Jones?
I don't even know who that is.
All right. Tell me, Sean, about the murder and misadventure of Brian Jones. I know you've been asking on my other shows.
I've never even heard about it. I don't even know what it is.
I think he's a rock star or something. So type it out for me. I'm getting down there to the comments. I'm slowly getting there. I'm catching up. I watch a forensic astrology channel and find it interesting. I do too. It's always been a spiritual, a psychic energy level. I haven't ever known the depth of astral charts. I mean, it is, you know, so numerology, I can't even talk, and astral charts and everything, they actually go hand in hand. And when you take the solar system and the planets and align that and put everything with it, it's amazing what it tells you and how it affects. And it's just wild. I have my own specialist in those, and I had them on my last show, and it's really wild. It really is. Diane, it's hard to get your head around it, but it's nice to hear we forgive. It really is. Being in law enforcement, you know, I'm not the judge or the jury, so, you know.
And that's all human thoughts too. Like, we don't see it like that on the other side. Those are all human things, because we look at people like, well, how could you do that? You know, how could you commit to something like this? But at the same time, have we ever been in their shoes? Maybe. We don't know. And on the other side, it's all forgiveness. It's all love. It's all understanding. It's all knowing that there was a purpose behind it all that maybe we don't understand. It's a higher perspective on the other side. It's not a human perspective like we have here.
Lindsay, only one demon has made me pray to God, and it was terrifying to God was like, you're good. Wow. Demons are not good. They're nothing to play with. Evil is evil. That is for sure.
We're having I'm having a show on the 12th about, I'm having someone that comes on that's her specialty. She can see and get rid of things, and it goes deeper than people realize as far as getting rid of dark entities and demons and things like that. So that's going to be really informative on the 12th.
That's interesting, because I have a spiritual warfare kit that I send out to people. Interesting. See? Isn't that interesting? Yes.
Yep.
So, yeah, there are. All right, Sean. I'm waiting for you to explain what
He
you
said
want me
it's
to know.
from, I think, Rolling Stones or something. I
Is
don't
that?
know.
Oh, he did. So I passed it then. Okay. So what, did he OD or something, or was he murdered, or what?
They said pool, but I mean, I wouldn't know unless I channeled him and found out. You know.
Yeah, I must have passed that way up then.
Yeah.
Oh, a death or a murder or misadventure. Okay. Yeah. But now, interesting, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you, it's never a dull moment with her, especially since I've been calling her Rachel all this time. But yeah, if you ever want to see the haunted dolls, and during the one show, it got so bad with the what do you call it when stuff's flying? I can't think of the word. What's that term when stuff starts? Poltergeist activity. I had to shut down my live feed on my side of my camera. It freaked me out so bad. And everybody's like, whoa, what's going on? So, yeah, it's out there. It's recorded. I freaked out. So, crazy witch. I'm a witch in this life too. Well, aren't we all sometimes? Thank you to both bringing this live chat tonight. Oh, you're welcome. I'd wear that shirt too. I guess they love your shirt you're wearing. Sonia,
no, it's
being
the
a
it's
witch
the one
is where
with the
it's
cat
at.
balls.
Now,
They want me
Sonia's
to make
got
a cat ball shirt.
Sonia's got her broom hanging above her head. So, in her room. So, yeah, she'll admit it. And she's got her little bottles of spells hanging or sitting on her shelf. Don't you, girl? So, Jessica, I'm a witch. Been called that during my childhood, ages prior to my mother. Wow. Are you a good witch? Everybody's a witch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jessica says that's okay with me.
And I think a lot of us with abilities are actually witches or have been witches. I mean, I'm a witch. I just don't know how to use it. Like do spells and stuff. But I know, naturally there's certain things that like manifestation and stuff like that. Pretty good at that. But yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
It's one of those things where it can get a little complicated. But
why does everybody want a donkey? What's up with the donkey
I don't
now?
know. I
Did I
love
miss
donkeys.
something?
I want a donkey. Well, they were talking about my goats, and somebody said, "Oh, I want a donkey." I'd love a donkey.
Oh my gosh. Sonny's got goats. She's got all kinds of stuff. Chickens, Sasquatches, swampus cats, or whatever they're called. Dog man. I think she's got a portal out there. She's probably like, oh my God, just tell everybody about me. I will. I love you. She's pretty cool. She reminds me of like all the other psychics. She's pretty neat. She's not boring as well. Terry's like, this is new to me. Terry, you have missed like everything earlier. So I stay away from TikTok. Why? TikTok's not bad. It used to be bad. So are they going to take TikTok away from us? Have you heard?
I hope not.
I know they were trying to. Cat balls. LOL.
Yeah, they're trying to be controlling, of course, and they're trying to do that because of the whole China thing, and it steals our. I'm sorry, but the government's been stealing our information for ages, all the time.
They have.
Yeah,
They have.
So it's just because it's not them. But yeah, I hope not. I mean, that's really good for creators. So I know some
Yeah.
people don't like it, but for creators and stuff, it's important.
Yeah. Oh, I use it all the time. Sonia, I feel if you're going to own something that's a vessel of your spirits, you guys take care of it. Water, the moon, the trees. You can cleanse and change everything into positivity. I believe in that. Lizzie, yes, that's the midnight moon. I think the donkey recognized her and was snuggling on her. What is this with the donkey? Did I miss something?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I must have missed something with the
They're
donkey.
talking about a donkey in there because I don't know. It came up.
Yeah, but snuggling with you?
Oh, not me. I do want a donkey. I snuggle with goats, but
Oh,
there was
okay.
there's a video of this donkey goes crazy running to this girl that she hadn't seen in a long time. So,
Oh,
and then there's another one where a guy's like cuddling this little mini donkey.
I gotcha. Cat balls are being touched. Love it. Jessica, no, my gosh, you just had to do it.
I have
You
to.
you
I
made
know I
me read
should.
that out loud, didn't you? Love you too. I love it.
Only people that watch me would understand it, though. It might be a little weird.
Well, on one show, they would actually, because I would read the comments as they would come in, right?
Mhm.
And I wouldn't pre-read them, and I would read it, and I'd be like, "Did you just make me say that?" I was like so embarrassed, right? I'm like, "You're all gonna get me kicked off YouTube. Come on now, stop it." So yes, the color death fade sucks. We pay so much for the hair colors. Geez, very time consuming. Yeah, I mean doing that different colors. Yeah, that's got to be time
It
consuming.
sucks. Yeah, I only wash my hair like once a week. Because every time you wash, the color comes out, and I use all the, no sulfates, no nothing, cold water, everything. It's still, they need to make a permanent one, but I don't think they will because maybe they will, but because the color, they don't people want their color permanently that color, but I do.
Now, let me ask you something. I want to ask Sonia this. Sonia, you respond too. Why do psychics dye your hair those colors? Why is that?
I don't know. I love it. I
Because
think it's
Sonia's
just,
got her hair color that way too in certain spots.
I don't know. I'm a star seed, so I'm kind of like cosmical.
So, Carmen Energy, admittedly, I first avoided her or avoided your TED reading, although look back at it, glad I did, and you explained it well. I also cleared and protected my own energy before watching to be sure. Here's the deal. Each their own. It's hard to understand things you don't know about. It's hard to understand things that are beyond our realm. Especially hard to understand things that are not biblical, that are not in teachings. The Bible was changed back in the 4th century by Romans, by man. There are things taken out of the Bible, books removed from the Bible, and I won't go into that tonight because that is a whole nother show, and then there's no whole other book of worms. But we'll leave it at that. I'm not saying there's not a God. There is a higher power, but it's just there's a lot of factors involved that you have to understand and know. And it took me a while to grasp that. And ladies and gentlemen, Grizzly is a reverend. So yes. Sean, Rolling Stones. Yes, I caught on to that. Jessica, Karma Energy. Yes. Brian Jones from the Stones, Before Your Time. Member died in a swimming pool. Yeah, we're not going to ask her to channel that. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to keep her. I know she's busy as heck and good out, but I will circle back with her. I know she's busy. Hopefully she'll get her haunted doll. I hate dolls, catnap. Sorry. I would grab mine and show you they are creepy. But if you get the right dolls, just get with her before you get them and make sure they're okay. Before you buy them, just tell them that they're not allowed to go home with you. That if there are attachments, they must stay where they're at. They cannot ride with you. And just, take care of them there. Do not bring them home like I did. So, yes. But no. But yeah, TikTok.
And I always tell people too, like, I'm not going to put anything on my channel that's going to be a danger to you guys. Like, just by watching it, it's not like Ted's going to come haunt you or anything like that. Like, it's not going to, he's in the light anyways now. I'm not lying about that.
No,
He's
yeah,
one
no,
for
yeah.
sure that I know is in the light now, for sure. So, you know, I would never put anything out or work with anybody that was dangerous. So I think people need to know and understand that about me. You know, I just follow spirit. That's it. I'm just doing what spirit told me to do. And everything's destined, like you said. Like, we met for a reason. Like, things happen for a reason, and there's a destiny. And I think that the world is changing and people's minds are becoming opened. And I think that, you know, people need to understand that we're not our humanity all the time. So
No, I do believe in that. But like I said, I'll do a show with her. We'll
we
figure
just
it
have
out.
to figure out like what we're gonna do. Do you want it to be like chat like this or what?
You
I mean,
want
I
an
don't
open
know.
mic night? You want a free for all? What?
Yeah.
Email
like-
us, text us, PM us. Don't matter. You know, I
Yeah,
can
we
have
just
up to, let's see here, I think 14 people live all at once. I mean, we can rotate. Crazy Witch. Some comments ain't showing up for me in the chat. Some of y'all said some stuff, but I couldn't see it till just now. And Grizz said something weird. I am that far behind on clicking on chats. So I'm sorry. Yes. So I'm trying to catch up. I'm trying to let people read them as I'm clicking them. So I'm looking at my live on YouTube to my right. So they are there. So, yeah. So, but just let us know, and like her and I will circle back and we'll figure something out. So, but
I'm not good at ideas like what to talk about. Like, I don't know if I want to do a channeling thing because, you know, I'm already using a lot of that energy, but I don't know.
Sonia says, by the way, Crazy Witch, yes, it's a way of life and different experiences for each of us. I follow no one but the little voice in my head. She's right. She does. It works 10 out of 10 times, and I trust myself. She is correct because we're happy people. That is correct. So, and she's right. And so is Rochelle, right? Is that how you say it?
Yes, you
I
said
can't
it
believe
right.
I've been calling you Rachel all this time, and nobody's been correcting me, ladies and gentlemen. Not even the people in the chat room. So
That's because
Norma,
a lot of
Sonia,
people call me Rachel anyways. Like, so they might not even know. They don't really know me by my name. I just go by the Psychic Sleuth, so I don't even know if they know. But
so
now we
Sonia
know
says
again.
yes. I'm a star seed too. So y'all got something in common.
Yeah, we all like my nails are even starry. So
So is that why y'all got the hair color the same then? Is that why?
I just think it's just we like to be individual. I like to be a little different. I like the colors. I like purple and blue, and I just always wanted my hair this color. I don't know. I think it just brings out our individuality and makes us unique and different, and I don't know. I just like it. And I kind of shifted a little bit. I didn't used to. Like, I would do my own kind of like change my color, but it was never what I wanted, you know? So,
Right.
I mean, I kind of have done like a whole makeover on myself. So,
Poor Terry. He goes, I'm having to go back. Yeah, Terry, you're gonna have to go all the way back to the beginning. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. But no, I didn't know because I know a lot of psychics have that hair color. When we get off, I like your show. Thank you. We're going to do something. We'll figure it out. But I know a lot of psychics have that color. Sonia, he needs a few more nightmares. Norma, no, I do not. Sonia, you better not. Stay away. Stop.
And I think a lot of the spiritual people go towards purple because it's the most spiritual color. It's the color of the crown chakra. So I know that's why purple is my favorite color. So just saying, because it looks like your girlfriend's purple is her favorite too. So
yeah. Norma says good night, or Sonia, I like how you think. Yeah. So one of our shows on Wednesday nights, we do have a chit chat. We do get on there and we just talk smack and whatever. Maybe we'll do a mix up. Maybe we'll do one show, chit chat, another show. Maybe that's what we'll do. What do you think about that? Mix it up a little bit here and there. That'll be interesting.
About do what? Chat?
Yeah, have a mix up. One night we'll have a chit chat where we mix it up, bring some people on, some of the guests or people out in the audience on, rotate them, let them meet us, a meet and greet, and have them come on live. I'll send them the links and, ask us some questions, some paranormal questions or whatever, and rotate them out. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Hey, Tammy.
What do you guys think?
What do you think about that? Love the chit chatting live. You like that, Jessica? Yeah. And we'll rotate it and maybe do a ditto. Yes. Yeah. So I think you like that. Open up, autocorrect. Yeah. Same here, guys. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll try it. Maybe we'll do that one night, 1 week, and maybe another week we'll try something else. Yeah, we'll figure something out. Sonia, you should see my room. Purple is my favorite too. Yeah, she is right. So I know your name, LOL. I just thought it was spelled wrong. Oh, wow. Thanks, Jessica. You could have helped me out, though. Love the hair and nails, Lizzie says. So, yeah. Color your beard. I was thinking about that. But I couldn't do purple, though. So, yeah.
Blue and purple.
Now, that would look fun.
I had blue, purple, and like a teal. But the teal didn't seem to last very long. Like you can't tell. The blue and purple seems to stay.
Does it?
Yeah. You could just dye the gray part. That would dye really well. You wouldn't have to bleach it.
Now that would look funny. I was gonna,
Nans, I was actually told that at one time. My old mentor told me I was an Atlantean, so that would make sense.
Interesting.
Yep. And I love the ocean and the, all of that. I don't like swimming in it, but I love it. Totally makes sense. Yeah.
Esberg, welcome back. Hello. So you're all about the chat too. So everybody's liking the chat thing. All right. Well, I'll circle back with her. We'll see what she wants to do. And if she's down with the chat, we'll do the chat thing once and see how that goes. And we'll figure out part 2. And always been a dirty blonde. Kelly Waterman. Okay. Crazy witch. What time is it there? It is 9:40 p.m. Northern Kentucky time. What time is it there?
6:40.
Where are you at?
Arizona.
Oh.
It's pretty haunted out here. We have SKIN walkers. Somewhere.
You do?
Supposedly. I hear some weird screams sometimes. I wonder. Doesn't sound like an owl.
You got Bigfoot out there?
I don't know. It's not like mountainous. Isn't like Bigfoot like mountainous?
No, not necessarily. But I know, you probably do have skinwalkers.
Yeah, because it's a Native American kind of land out here where I'm at. There's a lot of haunted places out here. I like to go to like Tombstone and I like to try to find haunted places to go to and just do lives because they're fun.
See, that's what I want to do with Sonia. I want to take her to haunted places and go live.
Yeah, I just don't really have any. I don't really have anybody to go with me, so because I don't know anybody out here. So,
well, let's change
my mom.
That. Well, let's change that. Let's find a ghost group out there for you.
I've tried. Everybody's so far away, like 3 hours.
Really?
Yeah, they're like Phoenix area or something. I haven't found one yet. They're also
let's advertise. Every time we do a show, let's advertise.
Yeah, because I'd love to do that. Like I started doing like haunted places, but then I didn't have anybody like, to do it with anymore because that person got busy. So yeah, there's a hotel I want to visit in Tucson. It's the most haunted hotel that is in the area. I can't remember the name of it right now. Hotel Congress. And there's a really haunted room that everybody books because it's the most haunted. Like I guess somebody committed unaliving in there or something. I don't know. I don't know the whole story, but I'd love to go there. And I always love Tombstone. Tombstone's always fun, but I only fill the stuff at night at Tombstone, not really during the day.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and there's a little hotel down here, and I told them I wanted to come back when I had more equipment because I didn't have any equipment. I was just kind of like channeling, doing a live, and they had ghost people come out there before. Like they've had tours and stuff. They didn't get much, but I was in an area that they never checked into that was like really, really heavy. So I was drawn to a completely different spot than when any of the ghost people were at. So maybe that's why I think I got more or felt more.
Now, when you go to a spot, can you see spirits or you just feel them?
I don't see them with my eyes, unfortunately. I'll see them like with my third eye in my head, or I'll feel like the pain. They'll make me feel certain pains.
Ooh.
And like when I go to Tombstone, like I'll get visions and stuff. And we had who was it that showed up? He's a real popular guy out there, and I can't remember his name right now, but I ended up getting his name and describing him, and we found out that he was like one of the main guys out there. But like I'll see him like walking down the sidewalk, but it's in my third eye. Like I don't see it with my eyes. My mom can see with her eyes, or she could, but she always blocked it. And our last time we went out there, she like followed someone and she thought it was me, and it wasn't me.
Wow.
So we don't know if it was a person or a ghost or how she followed me, but yeah, totally. I love it.
Yeah, that's pretty. So KJ, so curious, how many cases Grizzly has validation used in techniques with the psychics? So the psychics I use, number one, has been working with the government already previously on a lot of top secret cases. Two, worked with FBI. Three, some of the psychics have worked with very well-known cases that has been in the media and nationally known, has been recognized for doing so. So they are pretty top-notch. Some of the newer ones I brought on board have been vetted by me. I've done the background search on and tested them myself. When I say tested, it's not like, what am I thinking? It's not like that. I go back and I do an extensive research on them. I do a lot of back channeling on them and check them out, because anybody can say they're psychic and say they have abilities, but when you get them in a group, like if I put her in a group with my people, they would be like, Grizzly, this person's not real. And that's how easy it is. Okay. And am I right? You can tell. Can you or can you not? Am I muted?
No, I muted because the dogs were barking.
Oh, I was asking you a question. Can you not tell somebody's psychic or not?
I go by energy and vibes I get off of people.
Yeah.
And like I always tell people, like if they don't have any validation and they just seem like they're giving like not specific stuff,
Right.
they're more like reading like cold reading isn't like a reading. Like it's more like reading body language and stuff like that.
Just hit it right there.
Yeah, I don't like I can tell there's just and some people might be psychic, but I just don't like their energy. Like there's certain people I can't watch or anything like that just because of their energy or their vibe they're putting off. But I mean, I always say like the proof is in the pudding.
It is. Now, like my psychics, and if you ever watch their interviews, because I actually will personally interview each one of them, beforehand or before they get on the panel, and I'll do it live so everybody can watch them. And they'll actually, out of nowhere, will do a reading on me. And it's fascinating because they will pull stuff from my childhood that nobody knows, didn't even ask. And they will actually not even ask questions. My psychics, I've got some psychics will say, like if they're going to read Lindsay, they'll say, Lindsay, when you were 8 years old, this happened. And they will start going up and talk about your teenage years and explain things to you that only you would know. And you'll be like, that is a psychic. They will know things only you would know. They will tell you things that family members that passed over, and they will not be like, oh, I got somebody coming through. It's like a grandmother, and see if you get a reaction. No, that's not how my psychics work. They will tell you who's coming over, and they will tell you what they see. And sometimes it will not make sense, like we talked about earlier. Sometimes it may take a few minutes to resonate with you. They will tell you to write stuff down because sometimes you may not remember an hour from now. So you can go back and validate it with another family member. But yes, she's right. So it's very interesting, KJ. I don't mess with fake psychics or anybody that claims that they have abilities that are not. I think they're horrible people. I think they take advantage of people. I think they steal people's money. I have no respect for them. I get very angry even talking about them. I've seen them tell people they have curses, and for X amount of money that they will remove the curse off of them.
Yeah, don't do that.
Painful. Yes. It's very terrible. You know, you would not believe the things I've heard. It's very sad, and she can probably tell you a whole lot of bad experiences as well, also. So,
And you don't ever want, like, if anybody messages you and they're like, "Oh, I got a message for you," don't do it. Most of the time, it's, I had somebody do that, and I told her, I was like, "Dude, I'm a psychic medium myself, and I would never go in anybody's inbox and tell them, here, I want to do a reading for you." Like, that's just something you don't do, in my opinion. So if you ever get a message, because there's people charading as me, so if you ever get a message from me telling me I have a message for you, it's not me. But yeah, there's people, I've had people message me and they're like, this psychic messaged me and told me this, and I'm like, no, it's a scam. Don't listen to it. They should never be telling you like you have a curse and they'll remove it, and like that's all a bunch of hooey. So
yeah,
there are con artists, and unfortunately that there's a con artist in everything, but unfortunately it makes our job harder. It makes our job of proving things to people harder. And I think the more people are open, the more we're able to receive on them. Because I've had some closed off skeptical people where, yes, I can get stuff, but until the energy started flowing, it was really hard. Like, it was almost like I wasn't getting it. And she was like, this is the only time it happened, but she was like, you're psychic, you're supposed to know. And it's like, I don't know everything, and I don't know everything about your life unless spirit tells me that, So I think that people have this misnomer that we're supposed to know everything, and it's just not possible. Like I always tell people, we're just like human connecting to another realm, another dimension, and I never pretend to know everything, But yeah, I kind of will tell people, I'm like, you just need to relax and just let me get the information, because you're blocking it by talking to me and, saying, oh, you're supposed to be like, you're blocking the energy. Just chill. I told her, just chill. And we went on to finish the reading. But sometimes from my end, my perspective, I have to tell people, just chill and open up and just let it come in. Don't start because we're 10 minutes in, you're wanting a refund because I don't know what you do for work yet. It's because I haven't got it.
right.
Right. And I was like, let us just finish. So, and we did finish, but I just think there's a misnomer on that. We're all gifted differently too. Like, Not every psychic is going to be able to tell you what another psychic can tell you. Like, we're all gifted differently, we all perceive differently, we all receive the information
Absolutely.
differently. Some are more clairvoyant than others, some feel more. Like, it's just we're gifted differently, you know.
Yeah. And another thing too, ladies and gentlemen, when you do go to see a real one, don't expect if you're going to see one, don't expect to meet your grandfather, because you may have your great uncle that's going to be crazy nuts, being over there screaming and hollering, wanting to come forward, and your grandfather may not be there, so he may not come through. So don't get upset if that happens, because that does happen. You know, another family member may come through. I mean, am I right?
Well, that hasn't happened with me. So, because I use a picture to connect, so I don't just call in whoever.
Okay.
But there
Same.
is times, but I have started to tell people, like, if what I'm telling you of the person we're trying to connect with isn't clicking for that person, make sure that there's nobody else on the other side that's not coming in first. Because sometimes they'll like try to connect to the person I'm trying to connect to, and they'll forget that they got other people over there. And sometimes somebody else will come in and block that energy of who I'm trying to connect with till they get validated or they get told that they're there. I've had that happen a couple times. So now I tell people before the reading, like, make sure it doesn't fit anybody else that's over there or anybody else that's here. Because sometimes I talk about you guys. But because like I had this, I was getting a heart attack. Hold on.
You know, and it's very important to understand and learn what she's explaining, because it's sad that people take advantage of people, and it's just very just discerning.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
But like, so I was getting someone coming through with a heart attack, but it didn't fit the person I was trying to communicate with. And I said, well, does it fit anybody else, like maybe a grandmother figure? And she said, oh yes, a grandmother, and it would be the mom of the person I'm trying to connect with. So the mom was bringing through her son, but wanted to be validated first. So sometimes that does happen, but I'm always able, knock on wood, to get the person I'm trying to get. So, and I prefer to connect that way, but not everybody prefers to connect that way. Matt Frazier doesn't connect that way. He says you can't call them. I don't know. I can. So I think it just depends on our gifts. I can like pull in who's around you. You know, like the other reading I had, she just wanted to see who was around her. And I was explaining someone and didn't click till later that it was her husband's brother, but didn't click at the time. You know, even though I'm like, there's a brother here and this is how he passed, blah, 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 it didn't click till like the next day. So, you know, I don't really like to usually do it that way because I feel like I get a stronger connection off of a picture for some reason. But that's just the way that I connect and the way that I do my readings. And
Does it help to have the person solo, or the other people, you know, covered up?
Well, I prefer actually to do my readings through chat. That's how I get my best information. Not only is that it all written down there so you can go back and read it later, but I channel best with no distractions. Because I have a little bit of ADHD, and I kind of like, if someone's on screen, I'll kind of like go off, and there can be distractions. It just makes me in spirit. It just makes my reading a little more pure. I feel like I did start adding video readings to my thing, but I don't prefer to. I take a little bit longer to get the information. When I type, it's fast. When I'm connecting that way, it's a little bit slower. I've only been doing that way for about a year, where I just started doing like live readings and all of that. That just started like a year. I've been channeling like through auto writing or typing for like 10. So I feel like I get the information a little bit faster when I type. And people can use the voice thing too. But I know that a lot of people like the more personal stuff, but they have it there, and I feel like it's the best reading and the deepest reading, and it comes the fastest, so you get more for your money, you know, because I'm not wasting time like trying to connect.
Right.
And that's why I always warn people of that. Like, it's not like my best way to connect. I can still do it. I can still give you a good reading. It's just you might get a little bit more out of the other way. Yeah, we all connect differently. That's what I'm saying. We all connect differently.
Yeah. So what other things should they expect? And, you know, I mean, I always tell them to don't go in, you know, upset, or, you know, being in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Always tell them, be, relaxed.
Yeah, sometimes when you go into a reading and you've had a really bad day, sometimes it can block the energy. So sometimes people will reschedule with me if they've had a bad day, which is fine. Because you don't want to be blocking with the energy, because you can block your reading. You can block your energy. For one, if you're not open to what's being said to you, because you have to remember it's not from us, it's from spirit. So if we're telling you something, you may not even want to make sense of it or think it even makes sense to you, but they're giving it to you for a reason. Even if someone's not doing tarot cards, but for some reason I'm seeing them doing tarot cards and kind of doing it like as a side hustle, but they've never thought of that. That doesn't mean that they can't do it. We all have untapped potential. So I always say, go into a reading open-minded, listen to what you're being given, because it's all spirit guided. We don't know everything, right? Otherwise we wouldn't be getting a reading. So we're here for the spirit's guidance. So come in and be open and listen to the spirit's guidance. And as far as mediumship, when you have a loved one come through, just be open to whatever they're going to give you. I like to get validation. So I like to get things I couldn't possibly know, validation of who I'm talking to, so that I don't like to just say, okay, here's your dad and he loves you. I don't like to just do it like that. I like to have the validation of stuff that only you guys would know. And I like to try to get passings and things like that, whatever they'll show me, and then I'll get a message. But I kind of just let them flow with it, because spirit will always give you what's best for your highest good. So they know more what you need than what you do, because they can they feel your energy, your heart, your mind, everything. And there's times that they'll say stuff and spirit will answer, and I'll tell them, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I just asked him that, or I just said that to him. I get a lot of I love you too right after they say I love you. So that's just and I'm getting chills. That's just a validation of them, letting you know that they hear you. But it's very important to just be open into any reading that you go into. Don't expect, don't have these super high expectations that this person's going to be able to tell you everything about your life. It doesn't work like that,
Right.
It just doesn't. I wish it did. It would make my life a whole lot easier. But
that makes sense. Now, what about bad news when they ask you personal questions?
Well, there's certain things I'll never read on. It's unethical to tell someone if and when they're going to pass, or how they're going to pass, or if they have cancer, or, I'll say you should get checked for it. I'm not telling you that you do, but you should get checked. It's more like that. I'll never, there's certain things I won't do that's unethical to do. Someone should never come up to you and be like, you're going to pass in a week, or you're going to die this way. They should never do that. That's just something you don't do. I've had people ask me that question, and I tell them I will not do that, because that is we're not supposed to know that. Because then if I tell you that, you're going to sit there and stress, oh my God, I've only got a week to live. You can't do that to people, because you could be totally wrong. So it's just something that you don't do. And I've had people that, are sick with illnesses and stuff. They're like, how much time do I have left? I can't tell you that. I just can't. And I won't. Even if spirit would give me that, I wouldn't, I get the information if I'm supposed to. Like I said, my client, her son was going to pass away, and I had a dream about it before he got sick, the day before he got sick. And the day I asked her, he was fine. And so then the next, I asked her, I said, how's your son doing? I didn't tell her what happened in my dream or anything, because there's a way to go about it. And I said, so how's your son? And she's like, oh, he's fine. The next day I see a post, he's in ICU. So it was right after that. And then he went downhill. And because she's a client of mine, and because she's had readings with me, she knows I'm not full of crap, I told her, I said, well, I had a dream. When you're ready, come to me and we'll talk about it. And so when her son was not gonna come out of it, we talked about it. And it was to prepare her, I guess, because she was a client, and because I knew how to handle it. But I've never gotten information like that ever, except for my grandpa. But and I won't tell people that anyways. It's just unethical. There's just some things you don't do. Bad news, spirit won't give me bad news either. They'll give me warnings, a tire. Okay, check your tires, or check this, or check that, or something like that. But they won't ever be like, oh yeah, you're gonna get in a car accident. I've had people I'll tell them check your tires or whatever, and then they'll come to me good thing I checked my tires, But it shouldn't be any negative news. It shouldn't be any bad news. You're going into a reading, and you should come out being healed. and growth and understanding. And a lot of times, like, I'll get ideas from spirit that I'll give them, and then it'll put them on a totally different path. They're like, oh my gosh, I never thought of that before, and now I'm doing this, so it's just, you have to go in with an open mind and just receiving of spirit. You'll get the best reading that way. If you go in with certain expectations, or you're blocked off to information, or you only want to hear one thing, you're going to block it.
What about relationships? I know that's.
I hate it. I hate those readings.
No, I know it. I get it all the time on my show.
I mean, we have soul contracts with people. We have blueprints with people. We're meant to meet them, or we wouldn't meet them. Like, what's meant for us will never pass us by. So we're meant to meet them. But what we do with that is up to us. It's all, I always tell people, like, any psychic reading that you ever get is about possibilities, because you still have free will. Like, there's one main path, but many different roads you can take. A lot of my predictions come true, but it's all about your free will. That person that you might meet might take another path, might meet somebody else, I try to see who someone's meant to be with, if they're coming. Whoever spirit will show me, that's what I tell people. But that doesn't mean that you're going to go meet your love of your life tomorrow. It's all in the free will and then the path that we take to get us there. So.
But if somebody's sitting in front of you, like, does he love me?
Oh, I hate the whole question, like, is he cheating on me? It's like, what if I'm totally misperceiving this information and I tell you, yeah, and he wasn't, because I'm not perfect. So I hate that. But I only can go by what spirit gives me. I can't always tell you if someone loves you. I can't always tell you if they're cheating on you. I can only tell you what spirit gives, because sometimes spirit won't give that information. Not to me, anyways.
Yeah, that. I hate to even have people ask those questions, because a lot of people will come to psychics just to ask that question, ladies and gentlemen, because they want to know.
Yeah. But if you have that question, you should really be questioning the relationship, because there should not be any questions if someone loves you or not. Right?
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy witch. That is a great way to put it. Ethics, morals are defined by perspective. France and Iran and different morals, just a different perspective. Just saying. Interesting. Night, random, divine, and design. Yes, Jessica, Lindsay, I agree. I mean, yeah. I mean, I cannot argue with that. Lindsay says yes.
And I always tell people too, like, they say, am I going to marry this person? And I'm like, well, that's really a free choice thing, but I'm seeing it's a possibility, because they'll show me that it could go that way.
But do you actually know?
Well, I can only tell them what spirit gives me. If they show me like a white gown and them getting married, like, it's a possibility, but it doesn't mean like it's a for sure thing. They could decide not to get married, or I could be seeing them marrying someone else. Like,
but do you see them? Do you actually know though?
We don't ever really know anything. We're not supposed to know everything.
But do you see them at the wedding altar getting married?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm meant to see that and they want to show me that, then yeah. And then I'll say, okay, it's a possibility you're going to get married because I see you in a dress, blah, 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 blah.
But if they're not going to get married, you still say the same thing.
No, I'll always be truth and honest, and I'll be straight up. And usually, lately, if there has, because I never want to lead anybody on or anything like that. I always give what spirit gives me. And so, like, sometimes if it's going to lead to heartbreak, spirit will show me a heart with a crack in it.
Oh, wow.
Or a crack down the middle. And I'll say, I'm seeing a heart with a crack down the middle, just letting you know, that this could be heartbreak. And lately they've been doing this to me. Because lately they kind of give me new symbols and signs. Sometimes they'll give me a circle with a line through it. That circle, like a cross out. They'll put like a person in there and do a circle with a cross out. And I'll tell them, that's what I'm seeing for this person. So what does that tell you?
Wow.
That
is wild. That is wild. So the spirit guides, right? Because everybody is different. Do they use images that you're aware of?
Yeah.
That you know?
They'll use, they have symbolism that we understand. So like the crack with the heart, I take as a broken heart, rose, I take as love. So I'll have certain symbolism that they know that I use, or that they work with me with, to kind of get their point across. And then also like they'll use references like other cases I've worked if there's something that's similar. For instance, I didn't ever put this case out, but I was telling the girls that the little girl that was found in the water not long ago, like that when she went missing, I saw her dad throw her in the water. Like I kept seeing her throw her in the water. And so I told him that, and I was looking in the river for her. We didn't ever do a reading. It was just something that I was like, I'm getting this vision. This is what I'm seeing. So then the next time, you know, the boy that was found with the alligator in the alligator's mouth, they kept showing me him being thrown in the water. And I couldn't reference if it was, but they referenced the other case. Like it was the same vision. So they were trying to tell me it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Like, you know, he's in the water, which it was. And the dad did it. So it was similar. So sometimes spirit will use similar cases or things that I know or I've seen, like sensing murder or whatever. And they'll reference it back to things I know so that I understand it. And so we all have our own ways and all symbolisms and stuff. And then sometimes they just tell things straight up. But it's usually so that we can understand what they're trying to say. Because remember, it's telepathic. So they have to relay messages telepathically to us, and it's if we're at the right vibration to pick it up. So we have to be able to pick up what they're giving us. And so they do it the best way that they can to where we understand it. So we all have our own language with spirit.
That makes sense. I mean, yeah. Very interesting. I hope that answered a lot of questions because I know that I knew that was going to come. And a lot of people probably already knew that, yes. But
and
I know a lot of questions.
Our spirit guides are always connecting with us too. I just don't think we realize it. Like they connect to me and they'll like if you feel you need to buy something, if you feel you need to go one direction, if you feel you need to go learn something, that's your spirit guides pushing you to do that. When you get those ideas in your head, that's your guides, you know, trying to lead you on a direction or a path. So like you starting this, it probably came from your guides, like telling you, hey, you need to do this. So same thing with me. I get little things all the time. You know, I was having a toothache and before I started to get really bad, spirit was like, hey, go buy this. And it helped, you know? So it's one of those things where it's like, that's how they kind of communicate with us. But I don't think we really realize that it's them. Like ideas come to us for a reason.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, so you brought us together for a reason. Mm-hmm. And I'm gathering this over and over.
And if we weren't vibrating together, you know, like I always tell people, like your vibe is your tribe. So the people that are here, they're all on the same wavelength and same vibration. People that come to me for readings, they're on the same vibration, you know. Otherwise, it's not like if I have people cancel whatever, they're obviously not on the right vibration to have a reading with me. You know, it's the same thing. So, you know, vibing with your tribe is the way I like to say it.
Hey, I like this. I like that slogan.
Yeah.
Jessica, this was a great live. So yeah, so people, hey, they love it. So Diane, it was meant to be. So there we go. So yeah, I'm down. I'm game. I told you all, she's got me. So I'll be her front. I'll be her whatever. I'll make it happen. So we'll figure out a date. What do you say?
Sounds good to me. Like I said, people always meet for a reason, you know. That's for sure.
Poor
Kathy, sorry.
Hey, where's Terry? Or is it Terry or Tommy?
She's probably
still
rewatching.
Trying to figure it out. Poor guy. Yeah, woo woo. Now where I'm from, it's yeet yeet. So that's what we call it here. So hi Kathy, hi Lizzie, Jessica. Oh my God, you'll be wherever. You'll be my wherever. Whatever is wherever. We will be there. I will be there for her. I will take her. So here's my deal, ladies and gentlemen. This is how Grizzly rolls. So I will promote her any way, shape, and fashion. Okay. Now, if some reason, if she makes it to the top, I know that she will look down upon Grizzly and say, come up with me. Now, if for some reason I make it to the top, I know I'll look down upon her and say, come up with me. And I think that's the way things should work. That's just my belief. So that's why I promote people. So, and I actually got a psychic her own show last night. So yes, people do get their own shows. Absolutely.
It's a give and take, give and take.
It is. So yeah, it's been interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Love sent to you both, Jessica. Oh, thank you. Greatly appreciate that. It's been a great audience. I've been trying to keep up with your all's comments. It's been fantastic. Thanks for letting me call on her Rachel all night. Interesting. How
You're
embarrassing.
not the only one. You're not the only one. Don't worry.
That's awful, man.
I'm telling you, the podcast, when I used to work it with Shane, he'd always call me that, and he didn't care. He didn't care if I was Rochelle. He just wanted to call me Rachel. I used to make people so mad.
Oh. Kelly, I'm curious about the panel you mentioned. Yes, I do have a panel. It's Friday night at 6 o'clock. So what I do is we go over a case. Once we go over a case for an hour, hour and a half, we submit it to the panel of psychics. They work on it for about a week. Then they come on to the show. Then each one comes on one at a time, and they introduce themselves, and they introduce not only themselves, but what their abilities are and how they receive the information, whether they remote view, whether they douse, whatever technique they use to get the information. So it's pretty interesting. Usually they're all similar when it comes to the information they get. Very seldom you may get one out in the right field or an oddball answer, but usually it's all along the same lines. So it's pretty neat, especially when it's still an ongoing case, an unsolved case, to see the different spins. I'll put the law part side of it in, answer a lot of law questions. I'm not an attorney by any means, nor do I practice law. I just read the statutes for the state and try to help answer the law enforcement questions. Why law enforcement officers do this and that. We're human. We make mistakes. Terry T, yes, we'll meet a man from love soon. Oh, will I meet a man from love soon? That I cannot answer. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
It's all about vibration and timing, that's for sure.
I know, right? There's nothing like
I don't think people realize that, like, there's a divine timing to everything. So you meet them when you're meant to meet them, if you're meant to meet them. Like, we choose who we're going to meet before we ever come to Earth. And you might have chose not to be with anybody, and then you might have chose to be with someone. But
All right.
you got to be at the right vibration to do that. If someone's like still healing and not at a good vibration, you know, they will attract like people that are at their same vibration. So keep that in mind. You're going to attract. That's why a lot of people, including me, I did, you know, attract losers for a while. We're attracted in the vibration we're at. So,
all right, Terry T.
That's why I'm not answering Diane.
I'm gonna do this. Hold on. All right, before I let you go, Sonia's not here, so I'm gonna open up. I had to do this on a national show, so you know, ladies and gentlemen, I have a panel of psychics. Yes, they will call me up and they will know. Hey, when I'm upset, they'll call me and be like, "Hey, Grizzly, are you okay?" I'm like, and I just like, oh, yes, I'm okay. They're like, no, you're not. You're upset. Yeah, I'm just having a bad day. They will do that. They can feel my vibes. So during this one live show I did months ago, she was not on my panel, and I was just interviewing her for my book. And during the interview, she told me, hey, you are going to move. And when you move, you're going to go and you're going to move to this location. And by the way, tap dance, taps. And I'm like, no, I don't tap dance because I'm injured. She's like, stop. She's like, taps. I'm like, no, I don't tap dance. She's like, stop it. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, you used to go outside down to the lake and play taps on your trumpet when you were a teenager, about 15 years old, on the outside of the porch down at the lake, and it would echo for miles when you played your trumpet. Taps, song. Your grandfather is with you, acknowledging that. Your grandfather is also acknowledging that he's been moving the pictures around in your home that have been knocked crooked, and you've been straightening them up every other day. And you have not been acknowledging that his presence has been there, and he's been knocking pictures off the wall. And I'm like, now, did that not catch somebody's attention? Hell, yes, it did. So then, did she not tell me when I was going to move and all that other stuff? I was like, whatever, I'm not moving. No way I'm moving. So on the way out of the thing that she said, she was like, when you move, you're going to meet this girl. And this girl is going to look like this. And she described this girl to the T, all the way down to her hair color, size, and everything, and her ethnic background. And I just laughed. And on the way out of the conversation and interview, she said, by the way, you're going to have to go see a dentist. Bye. Good night. Thank you. And she got off. And I'm sitting here, and I'm still alive. I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, I have no idea what she's talking about. And I went, I got good teeth. I have no idea what she's talking about. I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking, this lady is not making my book. Okay. Now, she did get my attention about the taps. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, I did move. I moved when she told me I was going to move. I moved where she said I was going to move. 3.5 weeks ago, I was sucking on a piece of red hot candy, and I broke a half a tooth. I sit there, and I did not know it, and I couldn't figure out why this candy would not suck away or melt. So I spit it out. I'm like, you got to be joking. I did not know I had a crown. I didn't know I was royalty. So I went over and picked up my phone, and I called Kelly Joe. And Kelly Joe said, I know why you're calling. You're going to have to go see a dentist Monday morning. And I'm like, really? I'm like, are you serious? So after all this happened, this girl, out of nowhere, ladies and gentlemen, texts me. And I'm like, you got to be serious. I'm not even looking, ladies and gentlemen, okay? I'm too busy with shows, promoting. There's no way. All right. So, yeah. So we start talking back and forth. I'm making sure she's not in here. Okay. She said goodnight earlier, I think. All right. So I asked for a picture. And I did something I should not have done. I took that picture to the panel of psychics and submitted it and asked. Yes, Diane, I did. And I said, is this the girl that I'm supposed to meet? And I got some answers back. Not only did I get answers back, I got some weird answers back. And I was like, okay. So I let it roll. Well, I stopped texting this girl. And one of the members of the panel reached out to me, I think it was like 3 weeks after, and was just checking on me, which is no big deal. They do it. You know, they just check on me. They're like, hey, how'd it work out with the girl and all that other stuff? And let me back up. A week after, I was on another show, and they're like, hey, let you know that, You know, you need to let your guard down. If not, this is not going to work because you both got your guards up. And basically, one of y'all is going to have to cut the crime scene tape for this relationship's going to work because they're using the police analogy. I was like, okay, whatever. Yes, crazy witch witnesses this whole thing. Yes, you did. So, and they described everything again about this girl. So it went on for about a week. After that, then I get this message from the panel member. And she's like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, I'm doing fine. Nothing? I didn't think nothing of it. So, hey, did it work out with that girl? And I'm like, nah, I'm too busy. I was like, no, that didn't feel right. It's like, oh, she said, that's all right. And she made comments about vibes and stuff. And for some reason, I put this lighthouse emoji or GIF out there. Big and tall, this big bright light. It's like, you know what? It doesn't matter because my light is big and bright. And someday somebody's going to see this light and they're going to recognize it. And it's bright and shiny. And she replied back, and I didn't know it. So I picked up my phone a few minutes later and I saw E.T. doing this. They had two little light bulbs going off at the edge on the tip of the finger. And I looked at it and I looked at her. I'm like, you got to be joking. This whole time, it was her. They described this girl that was on my panel. She knew it was her. She did cards on herself when they described her before I moved. She knew it was her. No matter how many times she did the cards, it always came up her. So it was meant to be. So that's how I met Sonia.
Aw, there's a touching love story
Yeah.
that you can tell everybody later on in life when you guys are married. And
It's pretty deep.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway,
I like cool stories like that because it really does show, like, you know, it does show that sometimes it can be predicted, right? And then it can happen, but without your free will to message and find out about it, it might have just kept going. You know what I mean?
Now, Crazy Witch witnessed the whole thing, and I had to go on national show and actually tell the story and it took me an hour to tell it because I mean that's how detailed it was. I gave y'all like the condensed version. I know it was still long, but it was freaking wild. I mean, they even talked about high heels. I mean, they had me embarrassed, ladies and gentlemen, with what they were talking about on my show. I was like, you got to stop it. I'm like, you know.
You need to link the show so we could watch it.
Oh, but it's pretty wild. Yes, Lindsay, thank you. Yes, Crazy Witch, it's a love story, truly magical. It is. It really is. You know? So, yeah, so Terry T, it does come when you're unexpected. I was not looking. She was not looking. But it was wild because, you know, when I would never thought about her at all until she did the ET thing, the little light bulbs. Because I said something that I would get a sign or something. She would send me a sign. And that was her sign. And when I looked at her picture, it was like, it's her. And it's like, hello, this whole time. But anyways, yeah. Lindsay's down there. Oh, I thought that was puke. That was puking. No.
It usually doesn't happen when we're looking for it either.
No, it doesn't.
That's why I always tell people, well, you got to quit looking for it and just allow the universe to handle it. It'll happen when and if it's meant to. That's what I've done. Of course, I've been single 10 years now, so.
You're right.
But really my focus is my work. You know, my work and my animals, that's my focus. So
Only thing I know is we crossed paths for a reason, and I'm here to help. So awesome story time. Well, it's been awesome, guys, and I didn't mean to take up everybody's times, but from coast to coast and around the world, it's Grizzly on the Hunt with, I'm not going to say Rachel. That's for damn sure. So I'm glad you all corrected me. How embarrassing the whole time. Rochelle, unbelievable.
I don't correct anybody. I just got used to it. I mean, the doctors do it, the nurses do it, anybody that meets me does it. It's.
Well, still,
I think Rachel is my second name.
Like oh, that's awful.
Well, I was supposed to be Rachel. It's just my mom thought there was too many Rachels, so
I
she
like
just
Rochelle
added an L and
better.
an E. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. But good night, everybody. We'll talk to you. And I'll get back with you and we'll see what we can do, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, take care.
Thanks,
Love
guys.
you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
It's a grizzly.
Should we get out of here?
No, we're gonna watch and listen.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, shit, should we run?
No.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, should we run?
Okay. It's a grizzly.
Are you sure it's not a chipmunk? Action. No, I'm out of here. Action.
It's a grizzly.
I'm out of here.
Huh. Maybe it is a chipmunk. It's a grizzly.
Are we gonna die?
I don't know. We're just gonna sit here and listen and watch.
Let's get out of here, maybe.
Fall!